bourbon maple.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Oh, it's good stuff.
See, look at that final, man. Look at that shit. How fucking close that is.
Yeah, man. Do you
0.7.
have anybody playing left, or is that it?
0 point. That was the end of my first game. I won by 0.7.
Dude, I'm about to drop 160 points this week, and I'm going to lose because I'm playing the one person in the league that had more points than me. He dropped
my other
190.
Yep. Don't you fucking hate when that happens? Because you're like, if I play anybody else, I'm stomping them.
He's been trying to trade Aaron Jones all off season. He got 45 on me.
Yeah. Why would you want to trade Aaron Jones?
I don't really know much about the old fantasy foosball or how it works.
Good evening, everyone. The highlights of the news: traffic accident. A Beaver County man is being held for murder. There's more later.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us. All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate Podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and with that being said, let's get this show started.
Podcast time.
Yeah.
What up, guys? It's Made to Motivate Podcast, Season 3, Episode 3, and this is your host, Ryan Weiss. Joined as always by Jesse Young from Sports Illustrated.
What's going on?
How's it going, Mr. Rogers?
It's going all right.
Like you're fancy that sweater you're wearing over there.
I hope the camera picked that up.
It did. Chris Film Freak Kessinger.
What's up, sir?
What's going on, man?
Not much.
How's it going, gentlemen?
It's going pretty good.
Jesse's got a nice Yeti there filled with some delicious drink.
A Made to Motivate Yeti.
He's got a
Drink.
Whiskey coffee.
That's right.
Fancy.
Pretty good.
Chris has got a bottle of water.
Oh, yeah. Just straight from the Giant Eagle variety.
Oh, is it purified or spring?
It's purified with minerals added for taste. Booyah, Zac Efron.
Best of both worlds.
There you go. What is new and exciting since last recording? Anything new and exciting for you guys?
I'll get mine out of the way because it's really fast.
Go ahead.
The only thing I did this weekend was I went to Tinseltown to watch Bridesmaids.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Was that good?
Yeah. Oh, it was.
I mean, it's a good movie.
Really good. Yeah. Only 2 other people in the audience with me.
Oh.
Yep.
This is not gonna last.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, it's not gonna last. Jesse,
I didn't do much over the weekend. We helped clear out my grandma's basement. So me and a bunch of aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff went over there. We filled up like 50 trash bags of crap. Just like decades and decades of hoarding.
Procrastination.
And then,
yeah, dude. Grandparents, man.
Yeah, my mom.
Yeah. And then I started a campaign for my school to get a greenhouse, which
we will put the link in the description of the show.
We actually will not.
Oh, just kidding. We will not put the link in the description of the show.
Maybe next week. But so basically they got the okay for it from our in-charge people because they were like, we just did it on our own.
Right.
Because we don't have any funding. And I was like, well, fuck it. I'll do a GoFundMe.
Like, fuck it. I'm going to raise $80,000 for myself.
Right. And so
pay off my mortgage.
I want my $40 back.
So I'm talking to my principal and he was like, yeah, well, I don't know if we're going to get the okay for that. So you probably could have waited. And I was like, well, shit, like we made $1,000 in a day.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
And over 1,000.
So like
actually.
you did that. They didn't know you made it though?
No. I was just like, I'll just do it. Like the worst case scenario is I show up with $80,000 and I'm like, okay, I want to donate it.
Yeah,
like
now say no.
And so he's like, well, there's like rules with donations and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah, dude, that's what I told you.
I'll just say that it was mine. Like,
Shit.
Whatever.
Give him $80,000, then see him say no.
I tried to tell him.
There are ways around it. So, but they got back to him. They're like, we really think, because I'm not going to say, but I'll tell you off air. But like, they were like, oh, this is a great idea. We just have to pump the brakes on the GoFundMe. We'll find another way to get. Something? I don't really know. That's like above my pay grade, but he got the okay at like 3:00. He was having a meeting about it. So once I get the correct destination on where to put this money, I'll transfer whatever we do have from the GoFundMe into that fund, and then I'll link it from there. So I'm trying not to get the whole thing going and then having people not be able to give money and then lose momentum. But yeah, we're growing like this big ass like aquaphoric.
Jesse's trying to raise money to build a grow house.
Yeah.
So
a 24 by 36 grow house.
Serious grow house. Like Pineapple Express
with
style.
fish.
Oh,
There's gonna be fish on the
hydroponic
bottom.
fish.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. So
No, it's a good cause.
What did you do this weekend?
What I do this weekend? I worked on some of the deck.
Yeah.
Went to Columbus.
Would you say it's like 98% done now?
I'd say 90.
90.
It's there. I mean, it's functional.
Mm-hmm.
Steps are fully done. All that needs to be finished is like detail work. I got to put the balusters on 2 railings and then cut down the boards for the pergola. But then there's like stuff I'll probably just do next year, like finishing work. Like I want to put like trim molding, like you have in a house, like around the bottom of the post, just to make everything look nice and clean and stuff. But I got a lot done. The stairs came out good. Went to Columbus yesterday. I'm doing my 23rd cranial band.
Oh,
those helmets.
Yeah.
So a lady today dropped off the cranial band helmets. If you guys don't know, I have a nonprofit called Custom Cranial Creations.
Awesome video on 27 Squared.
There's a video of me doing one on 27 Squared, our YouTube. I can link that. But it's the medical helmets that you'll see the kids wearing. I started it 5 years ago to the day, actually, and then today a lady dropped off. It'll be the 23rd.
that's
one
crazy.
that I've done. Which isn't a ton in 5 years, but I turned down a lot just because the time restraint is like I have to dedicate 3 days where that's all I do. Like, like other than working, so like I'll go to work tomorrow. When I come home, I have to work on it. Like I can't do anything because I have to get it back to them because the kid's not supposed to be without it. Like they need it. It's like a medical prosthetic. So it's like the longer they're without it, the worse. So I 3 days, I have to have it back to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to dedicate all of my time to doing it. So that's hard. So I can't take on as many as I'd like, but.
So has it been that many kids, like 23 different kids? Or
23 different kids.
Wow. Holy shit.
And it's all, it's nonprofit. I don't ask for any money.
Wow.
Like they donate. So on my website, it goes over the process of like how it works. And it just says, I ask for donations. Mm-hmm. My minimum request is 50 to cover materials and stuff because it costs a lot and there's a lot of time. But I mean, I've had people I've done them for free. Yeah. Like if you don't have the means, like you can do it regardless. I'd ask for donations. If people give more than the 50, I put it towards like another. I set it aside basically. Mm-hmm. So then if there's a family that can't afford it, like someone gave me $100. But if someone gave me $100, there's a family that comes to me and can't afford it. Well, you're covered. I got 100 from that person, so that their 50 will go towards yours. So
sweet.
So yeah. I mean, I'd been hanging out, playing some Call of Duty. I made some friends on Call of Duty last night.
Oh yeah,
dude. So I played with this one. They're from Cleveland, weirdly enough. I was playing last night, and I was playing with one dude. We were playing quads. And this one guy that on my team, we killed it. Like I was like, we got a dub. We were gonna win. We were the last two. We made it to the end. We got second, but we played a couple of games, and he was like, dude, we're actually good, and you actually talk. Because, people on there don't fucking talk. Right. So he was like, I'm going to add you afterwards. So he added me, and then me, him, and his buddy did trios. We played like 5 games. We got no higher than 4th. Like we were doing 4th. Yeah. Well, we got 4th, 3rd. Like we didn't win, but we didn't get anything above 4th place. Like we were killing it.
Yeah, that's dope.
And they were from Cleveland. And these dudes were fucking hilarious too, man. They were cool. So outside of that, not much.
I always think about
I did.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead real quick.
I always think about what the video game world would have been like back in the 8-bit era if you would have had that kind of connectivity.
Oh, what sweet.
Yeah.
I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood finally.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
dude. Quentin Tarantino.
It was good, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. Jesse doesn't like it. He thinks Hateful Eight is better, which is real weird.
It is.
The movie's awful, but I was really impressed by it.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Hateful Eight is rated higher on Rotten Tomatoes.
Who cares? We don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes. Check it out. What did Chris rate it?
What
did you give those 2 ratings?
Once Upon a Time, I know I gave an 8.
What did you give Hateful Eight?
Hateful Eight. I'm trying to remember if it was an 8 or a 9. Fuck. I like Hateful Eight more.
Thank you.
But
it was good though. The Manson write-in was super weird.
Yeah.
Like the Manson family was so random.
But factually true.
No, it was well done, but it was just like so random.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Tarantino, man.
Dude, it was such a good movie though.
Well, like he said in the interviews that he thought that her murder was like the death of real Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I think that that's why he did it, because he just wanted to like change history in his own little world, at least.
See, the hard part for me in that movie, like the random for me, is Sharon Tate's story, because they don't really flesh it out a lot to where it matters as much as Leo's and as much as Charles Manson's story.
Right.
Like she's kind of the one that's caught in the middle for me.
Yeah.
I understand why it's there. I get it. Fully.
Yeah.
She's just there to build the anticipation, though, of
For the Manson
are they
family.
going to Tarantino murder Sharon Tate?
Well,
Like,
she's the tie that binds them both.
Right.
Like, that binds both those sides together.
Could you imagine,
there's no
though?
way he would. He's never going to murder Margot Robbie. If he does, I'll murder him.
Could you
Oh,
imagine,
man.
though, the
That's not good.
Tarantino, like take Sharon Tate's real grisly murder and then Tarantino it on top of that?
Bro,
Like,
that
would
fucking
be
kitchen
awful.
scene was wild.
Yeah.
That shit was so wild.
Dude, that dog's badass.
Dude, I want his dog. Brandy?
Yeah.
Dude, that dog's fucking legit, man. Okay, so here's my question. So that was in what's the movie award shows?
Oscars?
And that was in last year, and it was Brad for second,
Brad won supporting
and Leo
actor.
didn't win.
Leo didn't win.
So
That was the only award that it won, wasn't it? Or did they get
they got one other one.
for like the set and all that?
It
What
was
is
something
that?
production design.
Production design.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. Watching that, I thought Brad Pitt had a better role.
Brad Pitt, you could argue, is the lead in that movie.
That's what I was going to ask you
agree.
guys, and I said I would wait to talk about it on here. I thought Brad would have been the lead role in that movie.
And that's the controversy that comes with lead versus supporting, because sometimes it just comes down to who's billed first, and that's where Leo comes into play. Like, I think overall they've done the study on this. Like, Brad has more minutes on screen than Leo does.
Okay, I was going to ask you guys,
but Leo's top billing, so he's the lead.
You can't
as
have
far
two
he
leads.
made the most. He made more money.
No, he's
Top billing. What do you mean?
he's like the star. Like when you see the poster in print, it's DiCaprio
But
first,
why?
Pitt second. That's the way they cast
But why
it.
do you determine that?
Because Leo's just bigger than Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
If
Think
Brad
so?
Pitt, if the
Oh,
movie
yeah.
was made 10 years ago or
When Brad Pitt was in his-
15 years ago, Brad Pitt would have been the lead.
Do you think Brad Pitt was bigger in his heyday than Leo is in his heyday? No. You think Leo has always been a bigger name?
I think Brad was a bigger
Brad at his
star,
prime?
but Leo's always been a better actor.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, stardom wise though, like blockbuster name, Brad Pitt in his prime or Leo in his prime. Who's the bigger?
I think Brad
name?
gets it just because Brad was like a heartthrob,
Yeah.
and Leo never was outside of like when he was younger, like Titanic, and that was like a teenage girl thing. Everybody loved Brad Pitt.
During that, like Thelma and Louise 7, all those movies he came out with in the mid 90s. It
He's
was
in some big movies.
Yeah,
man.
Brad Pitt was huge.
I think he's got a bigger casting than Leo.
What do
Like
you mean?
more movies.
Oh, a bigger
sure, yeah.
filmography? Yeah, because Leo sporadically chooses his
Yeah.
roles. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Was
thought
that his first Oscar?
No,
Brad's?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought I loved him in that movie, man, and I thought I would have put him as the lead.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they've argued. I've read articles about this where people say this is why Brad Pitt's the lead in this movie, and it's hard to debate.
He seems like he has a bigger role.
Yeah.
He's on. I mean, obviously he was on screen more. The other scene that was really funny, and apparently there was a lot of people that were offended by it, was the Bruce Lee scene.
Yeah,
that shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
Why were they offended by
he's
it?
basically like a stereotype.
His like stereotypical Asian, and like I guess they like downplayed Bruce Lee's.
I don't really know a lot
abilities.
about.
Bruce Lee's
like
phenomenal martial artist.
Well, no, I know that, but like I don't know much about how like he like spoke and stuff. Like I thought that seemed accurate. Like I saw a lot of people say that was a
That
really
was-
accurate depiction.
His depiction is people are mad because he basically got bitch slapped. Pretty much throughout. And I'm like, look,
Bruce Lee would never have got his ass handed to him by some white.
But it was also in his
and
head.
this is escapism. Yeah, this is escapism. So like, you don't watch a Tarantino movie for factually accurate,
Absolutely.
cinema.
It pulls factual stuff in his own way.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Wasn't the whole thing in Brad's head though? So it makes sense that he would kick his ass. That didn't
No,
actually
that was him reminiscing about why the one dude doesn't like him now. So when you remember he was trying to get cast as the stunt double, and him and Kurt Russell don't like each other. That was him like remembering.
I haven't watched it since I saw it in theaters because I wasn't.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that like where it would like go back and like, side storylines or whatever. So.
And that little girl scene with Leonardo DiCaprio, man, that is gripping.
She was great.
She was cool.
For a kid actor, she's fucking badass.
Yeah, it was a good movie, man.
His trailer scene was probably my favorite scene in that movie.
Where he's losing his shit.
Yeah.
Going over there and embarrass yourself in front of all them goddamn people. He's like, I'm done drinking. Takes a swig, bam, throws it out the fucking door.
I love Leo, man.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
He's real good. I like the consistency in Tarantino's casting too, like where he has a lot of always the same people.
Yeah.
You kind of like get used to them. So.
He's like Nolan in that aspect. He knows who he likes.
Yeah.
Luke Perry's final role.
Yeah, yeah. Luke Perry was in that, dude.
Yep.
Wow, I forgot he passed away. Dude, that movie just had it had a lot. It just had a lot of great people and stuff in it. So
great ensemble cast.
Cool. Well, so anyways, we've got a special guest tonight. Like we mentioned last week, we got a couple guest shows lined up. So we're gonna get into Made to Motivate. We've got Madison Hendry coming on. I'm gonna send her an invite. She's gonna join us via Zoom. And we're gonna talk about boobies. Who doesn't like boobies? So Madison is a boobie connoisseur. And
Me too.
this will be a good episode for some ladies, if that's not really our target audience most of the time, but give us a listen. Let me get her invited in, and then we'll let her do an intro.
Maybe we'll get a whole new audience after this.
Dude, we should. Something for everyone.
And now I turn on my sensors.
We don't have to censor anything.
Penis.
I can't speak for you guys. I'd rather have ladies watch this show personally.
Yeah, it's true.
You'd rather have
We're
ladies.
married, but Chris is like, get an audience in. I don't know. Sign up, get the autographs. I don't know.
And I respect your marriages.
No, I mean, I think that with this season, we have the ability to offer more, across the board. So, hey, if someone reaches out and wants to be on the show, I ain't gonna turn them down.
Yeah.
We sent out that request. So I'm like, hey, when she reached out, I'm like, absolutely. Like, I think that'd be cool to come on. It's a different target audience. She's got a good following as far as like what she does. Like, we'll have her explain in more detail to you guys what exactly like her story is she's getting on right now.
Dope.
Can she see us or just you?
I don't know, honestly.
What was her name again?
Everyone. She can see everyone if she swipes.
I just blanked.
Madison.
That's what I thought.
It is joining. Maybe. So I've got Jesse Unk is here. It's one of my co-hosts, and then Chris. So we do the show together. And then we've got Madison on. So we'll do your intro, and then we'll kind of just go from there, ask, what it is you do, and let you tell us your story and things like that. So let me get that ready, and then we'll go from there. So
Make sure you mark your time too.
Yeah, so it was 55 is when that all. We need to edit out that part. Give or take. Okay. All right, cool. So let's get back to intro.
Don't forget your soundbite.
Yes. All right. I don't know how loud this will be on your end because it's kind of loud for us, but with it being through the phone, I don't know if it's going to be super loud, so sorry.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
All right, guys. So we got our Made to Motivate segment. And as I mentioned, we've got Madison on as our guest for this week. So we're going to let her do an intro as far as what she does. And we got some questions and things for her. So Madison, how you doing tonight, ma'am?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing very well. So you've got quite abundance of titles as far as what you do, as far as what you sent me in your bio. What would you consider your like main title as far as the things that you focus on?
That's a great question. So really, anything motherhood and early parenthood, that's my jam.
Got it. So you do coaching. What's like the main? I guess what's the main thing that your expertise is? So like as far as newborn coaching and stuff like that. So you work in like NICU or like a pre-birth or something like that?
I love it. Are you a parent?
I am not a parent. So this is all super new to me.
No, and it's awesome because normally when I'm talking on a podcast or talking at a conference or with parents, whoever it is, it's literally in bubble of the birth community.
Right.
And so this is really my first time being outside of that little bubble.
So
it's
like
pretty
talking
cool
to a bunch
for
of
you
layman
too.
idiots, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you asking questions and being like, so, like, you have no idea what you're talking about, but you're like trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. I think it's super cool. So like I know, just in the little bit that I,
move the phone, it's giving feedback.
Oh, my bad. Just in like the post that I made about you like being on, I had people saying like tagging their friends like, hey, this could be a source for you. As far as, you know, new moms and stuff like within the community. So I think that that's really cool. So in your bio, let me pull up what you had sent me.
What if this information makes you change your mind
about having
and
kids?
You want to have kids?
No. So I recently had a surgery done that will prevent me from ever having children. So so this information,
and I'm going through IVF so that I can have a child. So
I want to say, so this might be helpful for Jesse and his wife, Steph.
Chris doesn't know how many kids he's got running around out there.
I'm just in search of a life right now.
Jeez.
Okay, so all of you guys don't have any children that you are aware of.
None.
That we're aware of is the big key point there. But Jesse, like to Jesse's point, so like him and his wife are trying to have kids. Chris, do you want to have kids?
No.
Chris doesn't want to have kids. So, but Jesse at some point is in the works of doing that currently.
Hopefully soon.
Are you familiar or do you do anything within that, like IVF and stuff?
Yeah. So actually myself, I had a high risk pregnancy. And so I worked with the MFM team, which is the high risk team. And I work with a lot of families during preconception. So even before parents are, you know, when they're even trying and working through that whole process, it is so nice to have somebody who's outside of your family or friends or the medical, you know, world to just talk and be yourself and just talk about what your fears or your concerns and just meeting you where you're at.
Right.
And working through that. And that's really what I do.
Yeah. So you put on there that you like are a birth doula. So what?
Have you guys heard of that term before?
I was gonna say, what does that mean? I found that really interesting, and I didn't want to like Google any of this because I just wanted to not know, so that way when we talked about it, I would just find out from you. But no, I'm not sure what that is.
Okay,
you guys heard of that?
I kind of cheated and asked Steph, but I don't know if she knew what it was.
You're supposed to let them tell us.
No, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Okay, so well, that's great. This is a whole new topic. So, when you're going through anything in life, what is like the one thing you want to feel when you're going through that?
Oh, like when you're going through like a tough time or support.
Anything. Yeah.
Supported.
Assertion.
You want to feel supported.
Yeah.
You want to feel safe.
Yeah.
And having that continuous support and, labor and birth and becoming a parent is probably one of those most craziest, like, profound moments in your life.
Right.
And when you're going through that, you want to feel safe and secure and your partner.
Right.
So as a birthing family, that's what the doula does. They are with you throughout the whole labor and the birth, and they don't leave your side. And just by someone being there continuously has profound effects on just like the satisfaction of the mother and the partner and how they felt through the birth.
Right.
And just having someone there. Because if whatever it was 100 years ago, everyone was birthing at home.
Right.
We were in our safe environment. And birth was just part of everyday life events. And now it's like, move to the hospital. You're in this, even thinking of the hospital.
Yeah. It's kind
especially right now, you're like, oh, like it's scary.
It's crazy how big of an ordeal I feel like that it's been made into now. And it's obvious it's not necessary. Like people do home births and stuff all the time, I feel like, and it goes just fine. Do you do a lot of those, or is that mainly like when you're doing that type of thing? Is it hospital births, or do you do both? Like, do you have more clients that like do like home birth type stuff themselves?
Well, since COVID, a lot more home births.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome. So I just started doing the actual births themselves.
Like delivering kids?
Birth, but what is it?
Delivering kids or just going and being there? Have you ever like
so
delivered a kid?
Is non-medical.
Okay.
I don't touch babies.
Dude, that'd be wild.
No.
Okay.
But my expertise is actually in breastfeeding and lactation.
Okay.
So after the baby is born, I help keep mom and baby safe and partner in their little bubble and help them transition really into parenting and help them feel confident and secure in that.
That's super cool. Yeah. That's become more of like, I don't want to say like trendy, but like more, like accepted, I guess. Like the breastfeeding, the whole like breastfeeding like world over, I feel like just the last couple of years has changed so much where it was like, like meant to be such a private thing. Like don't do that. And now like, it's crazy. Like just the following you have, because I mean, I followed your page for several years now, and just all of the stuff that you have going on in the seminars and like how open it is, like it's super cool that it shouldn't have taken this long, but it's cool of where it's come to now and like the support system people have. It's really cool because it's been so like awesome. Shadowed forever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys, it's not being parents. Like it is a funny thing because, you know, breastfeeding, it needs to be in this private sphere, right. But then breasts themselves are very over sexualized.
Right.
And in our culture.
Yeah.
So like as guys who aren't parents, like, it's not that common to really see breastfeeding, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, like, I mean, not in public by any means. I mean, I follow several people through social media who are very open about it, and
same.
It's not a big deal. Like, I mean, it's weird. I think our culture in general is just weird because we do sexualize like breasts and stuff. And it's as a guy, it's super weird that is like ingrained in our minds to think of it as a sexual way. And you don't really know why. It's just like how you're raised or like you're taught, I guess. But when you think about like breastfeeding and stuff, I don't know why there's that,
divide.
Yeah, I don't know why there's a divide or misconception that like it needs to be a private thing. Like your kids got to eat when your kids got to eat. Like, so it's not like you got to make them wait. So I don't know. I think that whole thing is super weird. I think pregnancy as a whole is like a super interesting thing. But this breastfeeding in general and it becoming more of like a open, I guess being accepted more now is cool.
Yeah.
Do you run into a lot of situations with like mothers and stuff where you have to kind of walk them through or make them feel confident in doing that, like when they need to and not have to worry about like being at home or being in private? Like, how does that work? Like, what do you...
I was going to ask, like, other than, like, I always hear about latching is like the big issue, but what other things do you help a mother with outside of that when it comes to breastfeeding and stuff?
That's a great question. So when I teach my classes, so a lot of times during my classes, it's all pregnant moms and their partners. And I ask, one of the first things I say is like, have you guys seen breastfeeding? Have you? And so many haven't. And so everyone kind of, or like, have you seen a birth?
Right.
Have you seen a baby being birthed into the world?
It's wild.
And people are like, no. And it's kind of like this generation where we're kind of trying to get all that back.
Right.
Like adults who don't know how to use power tools or
seriously
a hammer.
Everyone is so
even.
Sheltered, man. It's like it was like cool to not know how to do stuff. Like people felt like that was like a cool thing. It's totally not.
It's totally not.
Yeah.
It's so cool to know how to do stuff.
Right.
and it's so cool to know how to birth your baby and feed your baby with your own body.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty freaking cool.
You should have had Steph here with you.
I know.
This could have been like a free coaching session.
Right?
That is a super crazy thing though, when you think about like, it's one of the things that's not like a taught thing, you know, like you're expected to just kind of know. Like, I mean, we had,
Unlike the hospitals, it's like you have your baby, they teach you how to wrap it up, and then they teach you how to
send you
breastfeed,
home.
and then they're like, all right, go do it.
Right. That's super scary when you think about like the fact that like anybody could have a kid at any given moment and there's not really anything like taught, you know, like that's you're bringing a life into the world. Like that's pretty scary to think about that. Like people have kids every day and have no idea like what they're going to do after they leave that hospital.
Interesting you say that. Like, yeah, you see in the movies, like the babies are birthed and they're wrapped up.
Right.
And then like given to the parents, like, here, it's like,
yeah,
wait a minute, that woman just birthed a baby.
Right.
Nobody delivered it.
Right.
That woman birthed the baby out of her body. And then what should happen, what your baby expects, is for that baby to go right here.
Right.
On the mom's bare skin.
Feel that
That's
warmth.
what the baby needs.
Right.
And wants.
Yeah, and they take it
And
away
when
and like put it in a separate
messing
room.
with it,
Yeah.
like wrapping the baby up and passing the baby around and separating the mom and baby, which is what they did all the years.
Right.
And we've seen the health outcomes because of that.
Interesting.
Just in that quick amount of time, or are you talking about when they completely take them to like a different room and put them in the little incubators and stuff?
But when the babies go to the,
Separated.
the mom births the baby or delivers the baby.
Yeah.
And then they're taken from the mom, put in the nursery, and then the mom is separate from the baby. So that was like
It's super weird.
normal hospital practice.
Right.
Until like the 70s and 80s, and people are like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
this isn't that good.
Right.
Hi, Madison. Chris here. Aside from the obvious, what about this career inspired you to take it on full steam?
That's an awesome question. Thank you for asking.
No problem.
So that's actually what happened to me and my baby.
Okay.
My baby was born really early, weeks early, and that's what happened. They separated us. He was in the incubator in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the ICU, but for babies.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him for hours. When I finally saw him, he was million wired, tubes, all the things. And then he was finally able to be put skin to skin. And then I realized every single time he would go on my skin, I would see the monitors and everything regulate.
Wow.
And his heart rate and his temperature and his breathing. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing that.
Yep. That's wild.
And that's it. They got me.
You see that connection, and then it's kind of like an eye opener to you to like, is this what should be happening, or is this like the way that things should be done? And I feel like our medical industry as a whole, like we kind of like the expectation is there, like it's a necessity. Like and sometimes, especially in a birth giving situation like that, like that baby just needs their mom. Like they don't need to be in a freaking room with a bunch of other kids screaming and crying, like in a weird little machine thing. Pregnancy is weird.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's just so like, I've always thought about that. And I'm like you're growing something inside of you, like a living being. I think as like a woman, that has to be so crazy to like just have something growing inside of you. And I'm like, it's fascinating. And it's like terrifying at the same time. Like it's like so wild. And then like your point of like they're the ones doing all the work. Like there's doctors there, but they're like, everyone says like that doctor delivered the baby. Well, no, I mean, the mom like is the one doing everything. They're just standing there waiting for it to come out so they can like get their high five and like they did a whole bunch of work or something. Like it's so cool though. So you got into it because of so a personal experience of your own. So then did you go through like educational wise for yourself? What all have you done for like the services and stuff you offer? So you do the doula stuff. Is that like something that you go to school for or like get licensed to do? Or is it just like a personal experience thing? How do you do that?
Yeah, so I'm a certified breastfeeding educator. And then I actually just got certified by Niels Bergman and his wife, Jill Bergman. And he is a neuroscientist.
Wow.
Who studies kangaroo mother care, which is that skin to skin.
Very cool.
And the mother and baby. And so I just did like this crazy training with them. And now I am a registered, it's called a kangaroula. So it's kangaroo and doula.
Yeah.
Kangaroula.
Very cool.
It is really cool because so many families too, they prepare for, you know, what they're going through in the pregnancy. And then they cannot get past like the birth, like the event of the birth. And then afterwards, it's such an afterthought.
Right.
And we don't really talk about it or what happens in those first couple hours, what happens in those first couple days and those first couple weeks.
Why do you think that
that's
is?
like my thing.
Chris said, why do you think that is? Like, why do you think that we, like, that's like the norm, I guess?
I think it's a lot of things. I think that our culture, again, like, we're just stuck on, like, the birth, the event. But then there is such a lack of support and knowledge around those early days postpartum. Like, have you guys, I mean, you've never seen breastfeeding, so have you ever even seen a 1-day-old baby?
Yeah.
In real life?
So I've seen breastfeeding, but just not on a level of like a normalcy type thing. Like I've seen, you know, friends do it and stuff like that, but not to a level of like, I've never seen like a public breastfeeding, or maybe I have and just never really paid attention to it, but I've seen it. I've seen young babies. Like I've been at the hospital like shortly after a friend's given birth and stuff like that. But that's it.
And so how was that experience? Like, what did you do? What was the mom doing?
So
what was your view?
So when I was there, they were like, take my baby, like to everyone that was visiting. Cause they're like, I just want to freaking like lay here and not do anything. Like they want to sleep or they want to be like, just to be able to chill out. So, it was a lot of like friends visiting. So, you know, holding the baby, nurses in and out, helping them, nurses like kind of assisting with the breastfeeding, but it's not like, I doubt it's as, personalized as like when you have someone like yourself helping them, because they're going just room to room, you know, they're not giving dedicated time or anything.
Yeah, I'm there for like hours.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, that's definitely like an invested thing. Whereas with them, it's so in the room for a couple minutes, how you're doing, and then they leave. Just like any hospital visit, you know, like when you go to the hospital, you don't get dedicated time.
Yeah.
And something like a birth is a big deal. Like I feel like having someone there to facilitate that has got to be such a big deal, like to help these moms through that. Cause I would be terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the dad too. Like a lot of times it's for the partners because they don't really see their place.
Right.
Yeah.
In it and their role.
Jesse
in
said, yeah, me.
Whenever my sister had her first kid, like this was the first nephew I had, like whatever. And my brother-in-law, he was like, oh yeah, man, like everything's cleaned up in there. Like you're good to go in and see the baby. And of course it wasn't. He was just being a douchebag. So I go in and there's like blood-soaked rags everywhere because she had a rough birth. And I'm not the type of person that gets like queasy or like freaks out or has anxiety or whatever. And I literally almost passed out. Like I had to leave the room, and I have no idea what's going to happen whenever like Steph finally gives birth. Like I might be like super happy, like whatever, or I might be on the floor. Like I have no idea.
Are you going to watch? Are you going to be there?
I'm not going to watch, but I'll be in the room.
I don't know if I could do it, man. I feel like I'd probably pass out. Like just being honest, like I don't think I could watch that. I would probably be like, what just happened.
Men are so weak.
I know,
We're
we
sitting
are.
here watching like this woman who's, doing everything. Like you said, like the most beautiful, powerful move in the history of mankind. And like, we can't even sit there and watch something going on from afar.
You're going to keep all those ice chips to yourself?
It's so pathetic. It really is sad though, because, but that's a societal thing though. Like guys are meant, like everyone, puts guys on a pedestal. Like we're like supposed to be so much more tough and be able to get through things, and then women can't, but it's really not. Like women are giving birth to kids, and I'm like, I'll just be outside. Like, come get me when you're done, because I don't think I can make it through it.
Because
So
we need you.
I know.
I talk a lot about that with the partners, and I'm like, for that mom to feel safe and secure,
Right.
that is how that baby's going to come out the best way and the least stressful way. Because if that mom feels safe because her partner is right there and she knows that, like, sometimes I'll have to, whatever the dad feels comfortable with, like, and be like, it's okay to get in there and kind of guide him.
Yeah.
Because then there's the other, the nurses and the doctors, and then they kind of get in that freeze mode, and I have to keep them in the zone.
Yeah. There's that level of uncertainty, I feel like you don't know what to do to help, I guess, but the support, I mean, I guess just being there to be supportive is really helpful in itself.
Yeah. And reassurance. I mean, before we got on, I just had like 2 moms texting me, hey, is this normal?
On the topic of like dads, since that's like more what we're going to have to deal with anyways, you have the skin to skin with the baby and the mom and everything, but what do you do for like connecting your baby to your father? Because I feel like that's a huge issue. Is there's a lot of kids that don't have dads in general, but there's like a divide where like mom takes care of the kid and dad goes and works. And I feel like that's something else people are trying to get away from. Like I want my kid to be close to me. So like, is there an infancy thing that I'll be able to do whenever we finally have our kid? Or strategy, I guess?
So So actually in my class, we have like a whole section that we talk about partners and dads. Because even relating to breastfeeding, breastfeeding is very intimate. It's actually, when you are breastfeeding, you release the same hormones. It's called oxytocin. It's your love hormone. It's actually the same hormone you release when you're having sex.
Yeah.
The same thing. And the same thing when you're in labor and the mom's having contractions, she gets oxytocin pulses to help her recover from that.
Interesting.
So every time we're breastfeeding, we get those oxytocin. It's like your feel-good hormone and calming hormone. And that happens with skin to skin. So right after the birth, we do mom and baby skin to skin. And the baby latches on and nurses. And when the baby's done, then we put baby on dad, directly skin to skin. And then those oxytocin levels raise.
Interesting.
And there's even the science behind it, where that Niels Bergman, who I just did the training with, so he has all of his research that it was 6 hours that the mom needed continuous skin to skin to raise her oxytocin level for the rest of her life.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's her baseline.
Dang.
But just 6 hours, though, and that raises it for your life? Like, that's crazy. That's really not that long if you think about it.
Yes. Wow. And the dad, how long he needed?
Probably like 24 hours or something.
30 minutes.
It's always easier for us.
Minutes. But to raise his oxytocin for the rest of his life, this is lifelong.
That's insane.
Effect.
That's wild. So what does that do for you? Like when you get your oxytocin raised for life, like what are the effects of that? Like you just feel love stronger, or is there other health benefits to that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we have oxytocin, which is like your feel-good love hormone. And then we have cortisol, which is your stress hormone. So a little bit of stress hormone is good, but then you have to recover with that oxytocin, and that's the resilience that we get as humans. But if we're getting too much stress, it's hard for us to recover.
So you kind of regenerate. You're
now
kind of
you
regenerating.
Take it back to those babies who were born in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s who were separated. The dads weren't even allowed at the birth at all. We've taken all of that away. And then how do you not expect?
Yeah. You don't have that connection there. And I wonder what the purpose of that was. Like, do we know why there was, is that just because that time and that kind of like era was real weird as far as like the way that the roles were kind of viewed? Was it just because they didn't feel men needed a role in that? So that's why they like separated that out?
Like the hospital. I mean, this is like a
study
a whole
on
other
that?
in-depth
Yeah.
thing. But
I'm sure.
So my background is in sculpture, and I've done a lot of work in spaces and how we act within spaces.
Right.
And, in the 50s and 60s when these hospitals were being built, like who was funding these hospitals but the formula companies? And so what they were doing was they were putting the maternity wards and the moms, and then they were all the way across putting the separate nurseries so that the babies and moms would be separate. The moms wouldn't be breastfeeding. The babies would get their formula, and then the mom's milk wouldn't come in because they weren't stimulating the milk production.
That's so interesting.
That's wild.
But it's stuff we don't even think about.
You don't,
that we're just like,
yeah, I mean, even like me growing up, like you don't think about, like, it wasn't like a conversation as far as like breastfeeding versus formula. That was a normal thing, like to go buy formula at the store and just give your kid that. And you never really hear much studies or like in-depth talk about, now I do a little bit as an adult, you hear about it more, but like the benefits of breastfeeding over doing formula based.
Were you guys breastfed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You probably weren't.
I was. That's why I'm smarter than you.
That's shocking.
He was ready to make a comparison.
I was so ready to just dog you guys, but okay.
So, but
that's cool. You guys know. So how do you guys know? Did you talk to your moms about it?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
I asked her why I was so intelligent. She says, because I breastfed you.
My little sister was breastfed, and she just told us that we always were, but
They lied to you.
No. I was breastfed, man.
Do you know why that became a thing other than obviously like financial, like those companies wanting to make it, but like, was there an issue? Like, is there issues where women cannot breastfeed, like where either it just doesn't work properly or there's reasons they shouldn't? And like that, and then like doing the formula route is a necessity?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in like, I guess the breastfeeding rates right now.
Yeah.
In America, it's like over 80% of moms start breastfeeding. So if that tells us like most moms want to breastfeed.
Right.
But by the time it's like 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, it's like 1 out of 4 moms are breastfeeding.
They don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, is that what you think?
No, I'm asking. Is that why? It's like they don't want to do it anymore?
Most moms want to breastfeed their babies.
Okay.
And there are many barriers that happen. And this can be, as we just talked about in the whole beginning of the session, this could be right after birth. This could be how the baby was birthed.
Right.
If the baby was born premature or the baby, whatever, was pressured, they were pressured into having a cesarean. Most babies and moms are separated.
Right.
That shows a decrease in breastfeeding. So that's already, a number of babies who aren't breastfeeding right at birth.
Right.
And I'm sure those parents, they probably thought we were going to breastfeed.
Right. That's so crazy how something like that can really like set the path of where you're going to go with like how you interact with your kid. Just something as simple as like the way the birth goes or like how the hospital handles things. And then that can totally change like the route of how all of that works. Like, it's so interesting, just like that connection that you have to have in order to like make that work. Like something that seems like it should just be so like natural or just like happen, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't just work that way.
Exactly. And then imagine new parents when they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We thought this was going to go like this, this, and this. And now it's not.
Yeah.
And you're in panic mode and you have no one to like kind of bring you back and just be like, okay.
So in like the
we're
stuff,
right here.
Yeah, in the stuff you do, are you able to, so like if someone were to reach out to you about all of this and say they already had their kid and they're like trying to get through the breastfeeding, issues, it's not working for them. Is there like a time frame for them as far as like how soon you can step in and like is it like after it's a certain period of time, it's not really like recoverable, or like how are you able to facilitate? So if someone's a couple months in and it's not working the way that they're hoping and they're looking for assistance, how soon or late can you help out?
I mean, I just say, where do you live? And then I show up.
Yeah. There's not really like a time frame wise though. Like, I guess for the physicality of just the way that everything works, does it get to a certain period of time where it's like too late to fix, I guess?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So I always tell families, like, even before they're pregnant or, when they're pregnant, if I work with a family through their pregnancy, we focus on how to get things off to the best start. And then I see them postpartum. Oh, every family's breastfeeding.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah.
Unless they say,
yeah,
you know what? I know that this is, what I wanted to do. And then this isn't what I want to do anymore.
Gotcha.
And I've made that informed choice.
Right.
To like not breastfeed anymore.
Yeah.
But that's never happened. Every family, they just breastfeed their baby.
Yeah. When you're educated on it or have someone to help you, then I guess there's not really unless there's like medical reasons, there's not really a reason they're not going to want to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like a lot of things is like lack of information or giving the wrong information. Like a lot of times the first people they're going to see with their baby is like the pediatrician, right? So that's like you have your baby, say you have a hospital birth, you have your baby, you go home on day 2, the next day you go to the pediatrician.
Yeah.
And then if everything's going well and breastfeeding's going well and the baby's getting enough, then that's done and done. They weigh the baby, everything's fine, and they go home.
Right.
But like, what if something goes wrong?
Right.
Those pediatricians are not trained to help. They have no idea.
Right.
They have no idea how to help with breastfeeding.
Right.
And then it's like, what the heck?
And that's got to be so discouraging too. Like as a mother, like for it to not work and to want to
do what's best.
Yeah. That's crazy that you can have a kid and be home in 2 days.
Yeah.
Right. And just like having a child.
That seems like such a, like probably the biggest thing you'll ever go through for sure.
So crazy to me. And like, I feel like there's got to be so many people that aren't reaching out to a service like you provide ahead of like a pregnancy. And like people are just going into this blind and then like having a kid and going home. And that's like wild to me.
Yeah, everyone. So listen to this podcast.
Seriously, like, that's crazy.
And get the
me.
right information.
So
and support.
Where would someone go? Like, do you have, I know like obviously your Instagram, and I'm going to put all of that in our info, but do you have like a website that lists all the services you offer? I know you do like seminars and things like that. So where does someone get like direct info on all the services you offer and like how to contact you and all that stuff?
Yeah. So just go to my website, mamabirdhendry.com.
And that's Hendry, Hendry, because it's hard to say sometimes.
Hendry,
I try and say it's not Henry.
Hendry.
Yeah. All right. I'll put that link in the info too.
Yeah.
And then on there's all of the stuff, everything you do, and cool.
We I have a mom support. It's like a mom's chat.
Yeah.
And ever since, COVID, I've been doing it virtually.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually been really nice because the expecting moms can come on and new moms come on and moms who have been, through this a couple times and have a few babies. And we all just talk about motherhood and our struggles and like just knowing that you're not alone and that not everyone you don't have it all figured out.
Right.
I mean, I've had 3 kids. I just had right before this, like Meltdown City, my 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised I don't have like boogers. Like you can't see it's hard.
Yeah. Parenting is crazy.
That's why we let Ryan handle the video.
Yes. Obviously.
Madison, I had one more question. Even with your passionate expertise on the subject and your career that you made a career, what are some things that you're still learning?
Oh, that is a great, you guys in these questions. So every day that I talk to parents, I am really learning to be a better listener.
Fair.
Because the more that I listen to the families I work with, the better I am able to support even like the next family.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's
because I'm not listening to what I want to hear. I'm really listening to where they're at and then trying to do a better job in like meeting them where they're at and giving them the opportunity to just be still in that moment and not have to be like, okay, we need to fix this. We're such like this quick fix. And sometimes it like takes longer. Like that's why I always just go back to that skin to skin.
Yeah.
Because it really, and it's hard to do. I mean, you guys, when we were like in that lockdown, wasn't it hard to just be still?
It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to, when people are pregnant and they think, oh my God, I'm going to meet this new human, this tiny human I made, and I can't wait to get to know them. But let me tell you something. You're getting to know yourself.
Right.
Because you're tired, you're exhausted, you have this little baby on you, you have to be still.
Remember all this.
I'm remembering it.
In one spot.
Remember all this when you're voluntarily having a child.
Yourself.
Right. That answer in itself, I think, plays into just a lot of things, honestly. Like we all just, I think subliminally she was telling us as men, like we need to do more about listening. That was really that answer. But it's true though. Listening in general, like sitting back and just taking in everything that you're hearing, because that is a learning experience in itself, and you can always take away something new from the people you're working with and stuff. So I think it's super cool what you're doing. Outside of all of this stuff that you do though, you're also an artist too though. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm an artist.
Yes, which is super cool. You have a show coming up, or you just did a show? I know you said something about something that you were working on or that you had coming up.
Yeah, so I have a show coming up. I think it opens October 5th.
Okay.
So soon, right?
Yeah. 2 weeks-ish or so.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's in London.
Super cool.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
That's super cool.
And yeah, I've been showing my work since 2008.
Okay.
And then it's all about my lived experience. So it transitioned into works about motherhood
Very cool.
and birth and all the things.
Did
And when I became a mom in 2014.
were you doing art and stuff when you and Angus met? Or did he get into art because of him doing his art?
Okay, so my husband, for those of you who know him, his name's Angus Hendry.
He does some awesome tattoo stuff.
He is a tattooer at Black Metal in Strongsville.
Yep.
And we met when I was in grad school.
Okay.
He tattooed at a shop on the block I lived on.
Okay.
So I guess I would walk by and I would always wonder why the guys were like outside the shop, like they never were. But it was really because they were like, he's coming down the block.
Right. That's awesome.
Yep, sounds like a guy.
So,
Yeah. That's so
he
funny.
tattooed me, and then
The rest is history.
yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, because
Now I'm like, can you be like a plumber or something useful?
That's fantastic. Aw.
No, I love him.
Yeah, no, he's a really good guy. That's how I found about found your page and stuff, was through them. But yeah, I saw that you did the art stuff, and I remember seeing something on your feed about building like a little studio and stuff in your house. I wasn't sure if it was more of like a recent thing that you acquired doing, from, being at home with kids and stuff like that, or if you'd always did it. Doing the show, that is super.
Oh yeah, because I have all the time in the world to do all the things.
I
with
figured
3 small humans.
as a stay-at-home mom, I mean, don't you just have time to do whatever you want all the time?
Yep.
I mean, you
That's
sleep
what,
18 hours a day.
Sitting back and
Right. I do not envy that group of people whatsoever. I could never be a stay-at-home parent. I would lose my mind. I'm not even gonna lie.
oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, anything you do, let me see. If I want to get like 1 hour of like something I want to do, I have to get done, right? I need at least a day.
That's so crazy.
At least.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There's that stigma though, I think, with just like a lot of the stuff we've talked about in general though, that like people always like have this dream they want to be a stay-at-home parent. But I'm like, I don't think that's really what you want to do. Like, I don't like, it's not cakewalk. You're not just sitting at home like watching soap operas all day. And like people have this like idea of that. I'm like, I know when I was a kid, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I know growing up, like me and my brothers gave her hell. Like, I'm sure there was plenty of days where she's like, I'd rather be a career woman than deal with this bullshit. Like, so people got to like realize it's not like, that's just crazy to me.
No, it's really hard. And no matter how you are going to transition into parenthood, and, we go back to those breastfeeding rates, and it's like, it drops off. Like a quarter of moms are going back to work outside of the home at like 2 weeks.
It's so crazy.
I mean, you're still bleeding.
Right.
You're still, your boobs are crazy. You're leaking all over. And like, just think about being so uncomfortable and full, like
all day.
I mean,
every day.
I haven't nursed her, my baby, like my youngest is 10 months, and I haven't nursed her in a couple hours, and I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. But
That's
imagine
so
being at a job where you feel like you have to perform a certain way.
Right.
And like, no, we need to support these new families and say, you need to rest and recover, and you need to take care of your baby and take care of yourself, because this next generation, we have to worry about their health and well-being.
Right.
Very well said.
Yeah. And it's wild to think that we live in a society where I feel like the majority of people don't have that support. Like whether it's from their employer or whatever it might be, like we're expected to have a kid and then be back, like you said, be back to work. And then like, what do you do with that child? That's part of like one of the reasons like where I've chosen to not want to have kids is because of the situation that children are raised in nowadays. And like, I would not want to be an absent parent. And the expectations are so hard to try and meet to have your career and be successful and do your job and then be there for a kid. And like nowadays the lifestyle is so much different. Not that one is right or wrong. Like I don't want that to come off the right way, but like growing up, like my mom was able just to stay at home, like, and not have to work. And so like having, my dad was in the position where he could be the only person making an income, and my mom got to raise us. And like, that's kind of what I would want. But also it's like, I wouldn't want it. One, I know I wouldn't want to be the one staying at home. And two, it's not right for me to say, well, you get to stay at home with the kids. But I don't want my kids to be raised in like a daycare, you know, like I would want to be able to be there for my child. And like, we just don't have that support system in our society nowadays, like with work and stuff. Like you got to be there. And then it's like, how do you have that connection that you're talking about with your kid and stuff when you're gone all day, every day, you know, after 2 weeks? Like that's got to be so hard. I can't even imagine having a 2-week-old child and then leaving them with someone while I'm gone all day long. Like, I don't know what the hell I would do. I'd be like a frantic mess. I have a dog and I'm gone from my dog and I'm like, is he okay? Like, I need a camera to check on him because I don't know what he's doing at home by himself all day. I can't imagine having a child. Like, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, and a lot of work that I do is like, you know, it's not just preparing and helping families to prepare for the actual birth itself, but it's really to prepare for, you know, what do you want those early days and those early weeks to look like?
Yeah.
And to really prepare so that they can be in the moment and be just spend that time being able to learn their baby and transition.
Yep. It's really cool. I think that's it's a very rewarding thing that I feel like that you've got to be doing, being able to help all these families and stuff and transition them into like a healthy relationship with their kids. So very cool. Do you guys have other questions as far as like what she does or just the process in general?
I don't have a question. I just want to say it's a great, truly harrowing story too. It's pretty cool how basically your life experiences paved the way for your future, not just in a career, but in the way that you give back to society around you. And you sound like a very admirable person with your head on your shoulders, and I commend you for that.
Aw, that's really sweet. Thank you.
I was gonna say I'm not
I'm
not gonna try and follow that one up, Chris.
No,
leave the writer alone.
All right.
You guys, you know, sometimes, and this is just being a mom and having my own business, and there are some days where I'm like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything. Like, what am I even doing?
Yeah.
And then there's other days where I am just so overwhelmed because just the day and the kids and the, you know, you wake up and by the time you're going to sleep, you're like, a baby's on you again. You know, it's hard and we all need support. So I am like you know, when you see a mom or you see, you know, a new family, and no one's going to be like, oh yeah, can you do this for me? Nobody's going to reach out because they're in their zone.
Yeah.
So if you guys do know someone and anyone who's listening, like, you know, just make a meal and drop it off.
Right.
And little things like that are just, I mean, it is just the best thing ever.
Right.
You know?
And you're living it too. So it's not like to Chris's point, it's like a shared life experience. Like it's something you've turned it into a career based on your own, but you're living it day in and day out. And I feel like when you have someone that's there to like be your life coach or whatever, and you know that they're not just talking out of their ass, like making a career out of it to make money, like this is your everyday. So I think people like,
I talk to the moms. I'm like nursing the baby.
Right.
And
but you gotta like that. I think I'll acquire so much more respect because people know that it's not just some like bullshitter trying to like take advantage of like a niche whatever topic or something, you know, like you're living it, it's your life, you know. And I think that it's very commendable. Where I'm going to try and send as many, I mean, our show is primarily men, but like we're going to boost this one up obviously to women and stuff. And I got people on my page that I'm going to try and get out to that I know are like new mothers and like talking about this type of thing. And I think it's a very interesting topic.
For the guys too.
That's what I'm going to say. I think it's interesting even just for us. Like, there's a lot of good takeaways.
For new dads,
I learned a lot from this. So
yeah, Jesse's like,
I'm like more anxious now though too.
He's calling me tomorrow.
Like, oh shit, there's so much more that I didn't know.
Jesse's like, shit, what am I getting myself into? and I'm doing extra work to make it happen.
Right.
Oh God. Well, you know where to go.
Right.
At this point.
For sure.
You'll be fine for your half hour of skin contact. Okay.
That's right. All right, put on Call of Duty. Get over here on the chest.
All right. Jesse's gonna have like some freaking video game satchel while he's on our Twitch channel playing video games. Cool. So we will. So it's Mamabird Hendry at mamabirdhendry.com.
Mamabirdhendry.com.
Cool.
And then same thing on Instagram. I just got Facebook, but you guys, I can't even.
Yeah.
But I am on Instagram. That's like my thing.
Yeah.
So I post information all the time. I post pictures. I do events all the time.
Yeah. Very active in the story feed. So people can go, like, you're always posting stories and stuff, which is good. As a business, I think Instagram is a very good platform to use.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a good place for people to initially follow you just to get kind of an idea of what you do. And then obviously the website and stuff. But
the for the community, mamabirdhendry.com is where I do all my events. I raise funds locally, and it always goes back to the community. So I'm a big part of the NICU community, which are NICU families with their babies in the hospital.
Yep.
And I just raised enough funds for 4 of the NICU moms to do that skin-to-skin training to help other NICU moms.
Well, that's awesome.
So that was really, really cool. And
How
this
does
was
that-
all just money raised from our community.
I was gonna say, how does that work as far as like raising the money for that? So what do you do to, like, where do the funds come from, or like where do you centralize them to go to be able to help with that? Like if someone wanted to help, how would they donate or do that?
So if you go actually on my website, there's a donation page.
Okay.
There's like a donation button. I think it's just like PayPal.
Yeah.
And when you donate to my fund, I'm not a nonprofit, but 100% goes back to our community. So like, for instance, I do my bi-weekly or bi-monthly mom support group.
Okay.
So I pay for like my Zoom account so I
Right.
can keep that going for my mom.
Absolutely.
I do all of my services to families who are in the NICU. I don't charge them ever.
Okay.
It's all covered by my donations.
Very cool.
Wow.
So I go and visit. Right now, we're not allowed to be in the NICU, but if a NICU family wants my support, then I offer them a 2-hour in-hospital visit. So I go and I be with the mom and the baby, and I show her, helping with skin to skin and helping with breastfeeding their premature baby.
Wow, that's awesome. Very cool.
So that's some of the ways I give back.
That's awesome. So that's good to know. We will make sure we plug that on there. Anything else you want to leave us with, or any more info as far as the best place to go to find out more about what you do, or anything like that before we let you go?
Can I read you guys a little story?
Absolutely.
I have a book for you.
Very cool.
So this is called What Does Baby Want?
Oh, very cool. Okay, I see it.
Okay.
You guys can't see, I forgot.
No, we can't see, but we can hear it.
This is my mother. I'm mom now.
I like it.
Hello, baby. You look like you want something. Do you want your snuggly teddy bear? Yes, you love your teddy bear. And what about your bouncy ball? No. How about your shiny tambourine? Oh, you don't want your tambourine. No.
That is one angry child.
More baby. I know what you want. Yay.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You guys will have
There
to
you
watch it
go,
later.
my baby.
I saw it off your forehead.
Oh, burn. I love it.
Is
That's-
that the cutest?
That's really cool. Yes.
That's all they want.
Yeah. Well, a trend. Well, I appreciate you coming on. A lot of really cool information. I know Jesse is excited about some of the things he learned.
Yep.
It is really helpful though. I think that's really cool. I think to your point too, like I think it is informative for guys like to get involved more in that stuff and be a part of it. So,
and especially out in the world,
right?
Like we are home as moms doing the most important work.
Right.
Holding, from what I've taught you, right? It's really important. And not just like a choice, like, oh, do this or do this.
Right.
It's like, this is this is a public health issue.
Right.
And this is for the health and well-being of our next generation.
Good call.
And so as men, as people who are just out in the community,
right.
the more that we make little gestures of just supporting new families, the better everybody's going to be.
Yeah. Be supportive of it and be understanding. I think as far as like being out in the community and stuff, like I think people just need to be more aware of the reasoning. Like something I'll never understand is why people think it's a big deal to breastfeed your child. Like, I don't know what
doesn't bother
why
me.
the fuck that's an issue. Like it's like giving life to your kid. Like, why is that a big deal? I don't know why people make a big deal of that, but
yeah.
I don't know where it becomes a big deal. I don't know if it's a guy thing. I don't know. I don't even are women against public breastfeeding? Is that a thing? Are they? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And it's also like if you've never seen it or you didn't breastfeed or, you guys, it's complicated.
Right. I don't know.
There's a lot of things
Oh,
going
I'm
on.
sure. I just think it's super weird. Like, and I know we kind of talked about at the beginning, but it's just weird to me that people think that that's a big deal. Like, I'm not out here like sexualizing myself while I'm feeding my child. If you're looking at me that way, that's a you problem. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, that's about that person feeling that way.
Like, don't look. Like, they're feeding their child. Like, you shouldn't be watching them anyways. It's kind of weird. So,
my thing is, if you've ever seen me eat Taco Bell, it's 10 times more disgusting than that. So,
and breastfeeding's so beautiful.
Right.
It's awesome.
We don't have to go down that road. We had a show on here where we talked about our things that we were into, and mine is I find pregnant women that's like I don't know if you call it a kink or a fetish or whatever. So like, I have no issue with breastfeeding. I'm just full disclosure.
How awesome
so
are pregnant women?
It's cool. Big fan.
Big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of our episodes on here somewhere. We talk about that. So
nice.
I have no shame in the pregnancy game. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. We release the episodes on Tuesdays, so you'll be able to see this tomorrow or watch or listen. And I'll make sure I put all of your information in the YouTube and like on our podcast page and everything so people can find you. Otherwise, I think that's all that we have for you tonight.
All right.
Cool.
I got to go breastfeed my baby.
There you go. They are waiting.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Madison.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
What? Well, once you got to that point, I was like, well, shit, I'm going at this point. I ain't got no shame.
My
Dude,
God,
that book was
bro.
so funny.
Bro, I've been holding it in this whole time. Just
What?
like, I was about to throw it out there. Like, Ryan's really into breastfeeding.
Oh, yeah.
When you
Dude,
did it yourself.
I ain't got no shame.
Oh, man.
Pregnant women are sexy. What can I say? Dude, to that book, well, you'll be able to go back and watch it. But
Is it just a bunch of titties at the end?
No, well, yeah. So it's a round book. So it's a circle.
Yeah.
So like on one page is like the words, and then the other page is like an emoji face of a kid. And so it's like him smiling and then him not smiling. And then where she says like,
That's what you want.
that's what you want. So when she opens it to both pages, it's just two giant boobs.
Bro.
And then him just like,
That's what I want.
It was funny. Like I said, everyone likes boobies. So no, that's cool. There's a lot of good info though, honestly. Like I wasn't sure if it was going to be anything that guys could relate to, but honestly, I think that if you are looking to have children, I think that as men, there's an opportunity to be more involved.
You need to hold Grayson skin to skin and see if
Oh, I
become
do.
even closer.
We skin to skin all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He big spoons me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this Red Rocket.
He's long and lanky. He only red rockets you. You bring out the lipstick in him.
Hey man,
I don't know what it is.
I'm a sexy dude.
Bring out the Mary Kay in that guy.
Remove this cringe from my face.
Yeah. The fuck is this show? Let's go.
All right, so that's all for breastfeeding. Now we can talk about
The debauchery. Let's get back to it.
Let's get. We're gonna get into Hollywood Report.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down! Steve, assemble!
Bum. So, Hollywood Report. Christopher, the film freak Kessinger, you got anything cool, new, and exciting for us?
Yeah, I got a couple things this week.
What you
We're going to
got?
kick it off with Disney's Mulan. According to ScreenRant.com, Disney's Mulan has reportedly already made more money than Tenet. And Mulan was, of course, a straight-to-streaming form of media, $30 a pop. And Tenet you could go see for as cheap as anywhere between $10 to $12 in theaters. Gentlemen, is this a bad sign for theaters?
Well, I was going to ask you. So, what did you think of Mulan again?
Oh, it was terrible.
And what did you think of Tenet again?
It was really good.
Oh, okay.
Fuck Mulan.
Yeah, it's terrible. This is going to fuck up movie theaters, man.
So yeah, here's my thing. So one, I'm surprised by that just because of how awful reviews Mulan got.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, that was coming out even before it was on video.
The kids.
I don't think it bodes well for theaters, obviously, because now you've got a production company who knows, shit, we did better than a movie in theater.
And we charged like almost 3 times as much.
And we charged $30. So they're still making a good amount of money. To me, it's odd because now, again, we've talked about like the movie watching parties, $30, get a couple friends together, watch a movie. Now, as a family, like, do you think this Mulan, it was geared towards a more of adults or kids? Because it was a live action. It wasn't like your normal animated.
I didn't watch it because Chris said it was bad.
Yeah,
so.
but who do you think it was more geared towards? Do you think this was like a family movie?
I think it's a hybrid of both. It has great cross age appeal in terms of who it's aimed at. It's definitely like the cartoon Mulan, the 98 one, is definitely more kids.
Yeah, that one, because it was the animated.
Than
With the live
anything.
action, wasn't sure. The only reason I'm asking that is to the point of, as a family, this is a bang for your buck. Watch it at home. If it's a geared towards family movie, I could understand it doing better than Tenet because you got 2 parents and 3 kids watching a movie for $30 rather than going and spend $75 at a movie theater, give or take, you know, roughly. If it was a Tenet versus Mulan at home, I would. If it was Tenet and Mulan
For $30.
$30 at home, who would do better? And if Mulan was in theater, would it still do better than Tenet? It's interesting that we're comparing them against the different platforms that they were released on.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, it doesn't look good for movie theaters, and they're struggling as it is. I don't know what that success rate. But we talked about last week, and I talked about it with the lady from Kent Cinemas. Tenet wasn't your bring back the movies movie.
No,
right.
Like it should. Like we were all pumped about it because like we love Christopher Nolan. We wanted to see Tenet, but a Wonder Woman back in theater would have done way better than Tenet.
For Nolan, his movies are always like, you're lucky if they crack the top 10 for the most of the year. Like I thought Inception, I think, got 8th for that year or something like that. They're money makers, but they're not like the big ones.
Right.
What were you going to say?
My 2 points were going to be like, one, it's not the movie that's going to bring it all back, because even like you said, like the Batmans were blockbusters for him, but other than that, Inception is probably the highest, I would think.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even that great. But I did want to know, because they said that they've like Tenet lied about how much money they made, or at least they like skewed the numbers. I don't know how I wouldn't want to say lied. That's so negative, but like,
right.
They definitely weren't making the money that they even said, which wasn't much to begin with.
26 as of last week.
So I wonder though, like, is Mulan making a lot of money where it's worth it still? Or are they going, well, shit, we're making more money this way, but if the theaters came back, we'd definitely be better off.
And there's 2 things to consider with that theory too. So first of all, Mulan obviously costs more money. It's almost 3 times more, as we've explained already.
Right.
So naturally your profits are always going to be more. Multi that in with the kid audience, and kid movies always do terrific. Even if
Yep.
they're awful ones, even if they're reviewed poorly,
Yep.
they always do well in theaters.
Yep.
You know, because kids will go and they need parents to take them. You're not just going to drop a kid off at a theater. So
Right.
that's 3 tickets at least, maybe 4,
Right.
that you're always going to see that. So that's where that appeal comes in. Secondly, Mulan, for $30, they get to own that movie now for life.
Oh,
That-
you own it?
Yeah, that is their movie now.
Oh, see, that's what I was saying. I think last week I was asking, like, I ain't paying $30 to rent it, but if I'm
Mhm.
going to own it, then
Well, and there's your
It's not a-
issue with that though too is now you don't have any DVD sales going forward.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy it after it's got terrible reviews. The
Yeah.
people who already own it probably didn't enjoy it that much.
right.
I mean,
That's a good point.
You're better off going and buying the original cartoon if you're going to do it.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got at least probably anywhere between 8 to 10 critic friends who I talk to on a regular basis. Nobody I know is blown away by this movie. At the most, they've gave it a passing grade,
I
like
think it's so funny,
just enough.
just because of how much Jesse wanted to see it.
Oh, I
It's
was super pumped.
I know, you said it was your most anticipated movie of the year.
It was my
I was-
third.
Yeah.
and
Well,
I think it's hilarious how bad it tanked.
Chris's review was like damning.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you give it? You gave it
5
4?
out of 10.
5 out of 10. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
For Disney, that's really not good.
Right.
You could look at another movie and go, well, maybe I'll see it for 5 out of 10.
To that point, I think the audiences were different.
Mhm.
I mean, it doesn't look good for theaters anyways. Is it like the nail in the coffin? I don't know yet. Like, I still think, kind of to Jesse's point, like the Batmans did really well because it's Batman. Like, superhero movies are always going to do good. They appeal to a lot larger spectrum of people.
Mhm.
Batman is a household name. Like, people love. That's something someone's always going to see.
Right.
Tenet, the lady from Kent Cinemas was saying that she didn't see a single like female at the movie. Not that, I don't know if women go to the movies by themselves much anyways.
Oh, that's a good point, that
But
demographic.
She said that it was a lot of guys by themselves or like
Mhm.
guys and girlfriends, but there was no like just women by themselves. It wasn't like groups of women going. It was guys going to it, and like if they have a girlfriend, they brought their girlfriend with them.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's a very
That is kind of a tread though.
cutthroat, like,
Now that I think about that, there's not a lot of women that go to movies unless it's like a chick flick. And even then, it's usually a date.
yeah.
Like if you're getting a female demographic for a movie, it's typically like those older, like those cheesy, like
Yeah.
whatever movies that bring in like
Melodramas,
the
books and
40,
stuff.
50-year-old woman type things.
Oh, I gotcha.
Book club.
No, even
like
notebooks,
Devil Wears
like,
Prada.
right,
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I don't think the movies are dead.
No.
The question is can they last long enough financially until those big movies come out? People are always going to want to go see Wonder Woman and Batman, and what else do we got coming out? Suicide Squad
Bond.
will probably still do well. Bond will do really well.
Are
But
those coming out though?
but if everything
now,
dies
yes.
out before then because they can't afford to keep the neon lights on, now we're getting into a problem.
Funny enough, Bond has doubled down this week. They actually released a new poster that actually said the November date on it too.
Hell yeah.
So
They don't
they-
do good.
They are like ready to go guns blazing for this thing Thanksgiving week.
Thanksgiving's the biggest movie night of the year.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
It's the number one movie night. Day before Thanksgiving
Mhm.
is the number one movie night of the year, and then
This year it should be really big too because almost every like big retail chain are not opening. Like
and
they
Black
normally
Friday
do,
is a
you know?
huge one, even with shopping available, because people just go shop
Yeah.
all night or all morning, and then they go see a movie.
Right.
It sucked.
But this year,
So this year it's going to
without-
be even crazier, I'm
yeah,
sure.
Without stores being actually open the night before Thanksgiving, I feel like that will just boost movies because they don't have to pick. People aren't like, should I go to a movie or should I go shopping at midnight?
I only have one choice.
If
hey, I
Bond
go to
does well,
movies.
if Bond does well in November, that'll carry over right into Christmas,
Yeah.
and movies will be saved. If it bombs around Thanksgiving, though, you're probably not going to recoup because all of your income comes from summer, which we've missed, and Christmas. And once you miss that, there's a dead period all the way until like late April, early May,
Right.
where you might get one or two movies here and there, but you're not getting any more blockbusters where you've got 3 or 4 different movies all selling out.
Yeah, there was a article I read this week on Variety.com, and they talked about the movie theaters and how it's doing right now since the comeback. And basically, they said with the failure of Tenet, the outlook is very bleak right now. They need a blockbuster to hit right now, and they need it fast. And until that vaccine shows up, at least on a grand scale, people are still going to be afraid to go to the movies. I've seen it. I've been there almost 20 times now since they've come back.
Yeah.
And the biggest audience I had was the Tenet one, which was maybe a third, a fourth of the auditorium was full.
I'm
Yeah.
honestly kind of surprised that they haven't closed, not permanently, but like shut back down and just said, look, we're going to wait.
I see it.
Because the operating costs alone, I mean,
Astronomical.
how many people do you think honestly on a given day are seeing a movie? 25 people maybe?
Like per showing, you're saying?
25, no, like at a theater, walking through those doors to see a movie at one theater per day. How many think people are going to a movie?
I'd say it's probably around there.
25
to 50, depending on the busyness of the thing.
So $250. You got to
If
think.
that.
I'm saying per tick. So 25 times a $10 ticket,
Yeah.
they're making $250,
And
but
then, and you're not even making $250
No, that's what I'm saying.
because that money goes back to the production company. You're only surviving off of your concessions.
you can't stay open on that.
Well,
Yeah.
So even
tell that to Regal Independence.
if
they've been prepared for this for a decade.
God, I don't understand why
They've
they
gotta
opened back
be-
up.
They're getting floated by
I was
the
gonna say they're
company.
getting floated by everybody else, but like to that point, like I don't want to see them temporarily like re-shut down
Me
because it doesn't,
either.
I mean they still got to cover some expenses anyways.
The issue though is
But,
they
man,
tried to
you
do
can't
stuff that
tread
was
this.
creative, like by bringing back the classic movies, by letting you
Yep.
rent out your theater and do all these things. And the thing is you need
Yep.
new movies.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to get people back in there. I've only been to the movies twice. I saw Inception. I saw Tenet. You know, Chris, you go a lot because you see everything, but nothing, unless you're like, dude, you got to see this. I'm not going to the movie theater for something that's not a blockbuster.
That's what I was gonna say because I love movies,
And that's not because of COVID. Like, I'm not afraid of COVID.
No,
I think
I'm
that
not
they've
either.
taken great precautions,
I think so,
but
too.
there is nothing to draw my interest to a movie theater right now. If Wonder Woman comes out, I'm there.
dude. I wanted to go this weekend. I'll look at the movies and I have no issue going alone. I actually like going to the movies alone.
Me too.
And I'll see anything. Like if it's a new release, it doesn't take much to sway me. Like if there's a new movie out, I haven't seen it yet. I'm like, cool, I'll go. I don't know the movie.
Yeah.
I like pulled up the Cinemark app for Tinseltown and I was like going through trying to find something to go see. I couldn't. And it's not hard to please me, but I'm like, I've seen all these movies.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like playing some of the classics is, but I'm not going to go spend the $15, between buying a ticket and driving there and maybe getting food there to see a movie I can watch on my phone at home.
Right.
And I like going to the movies, but it's not COVID. To Jesse's point, I need a new release. You give me a new release, I'll be there all day long.
And to both of your credit, yeah, that's the thing. So you look at a movie like Unhinged, which has been in theaters for almost 2 months now, would never happen on a regular
Hell no.
scale. Like take this COVID out of the picture right now. Unhinged is out of the theaters a month in.
And nobody's going to see it.
If that, probably 3 weeks.
Probably.
At this point, 2 months in, I would be shocked if that's getting new ticket sales.
Yeah. But I mean, they have to leave it because they have to have something.
No, I get it. But
Yeah.
but even with it being on the headline, no one's going to see it probably at this point.
No.
They're
Again, a
saving bulb
random-
hours for sure. They're cutting those things. You
Yeah.
get 10 minutes and they're like,
Yeah.
so
That's crazy, man. Like I hope something comes around. Like I am not prepared for there to be no more movie theaters.
well, those
Like, I'm
theater
not.
workers, like they've got to be going skeleton crew. They probably got
Oh, yeah.
one box office,
Yeah.
one concession, one manager, and that's it.
That
Yeah.
was mine on Saturday for Bridesmaids. It was one register was open. And there was 2 other people in line besides me.
Yeah.
And like I said, our theater there was nobody in there. So whoever those people were going to see, whatever movie,
Yeah.
wasn't mine.
It is weird though when you say like, do you go on off days? When do you see your movies normally?
Oh God.
Like during the week?
Both. Yeah.
Okay. Because like for Tenet, like when I went to see Tenet, it was pretty packed.
Yeah.
We went opening day though.
Did we go opening day?
We went opening
It was a
day,
Monday.
And you're talking a new movie
I
too.
know, but it was a Monday night.
but I think that it was just anybody wanted
Yeah.
to make sure that they were probably chomping at the bit to go and see a movie just like we were, and
Yeah.
it's also Tenet, so we've all been waiting for it. Like,
I guess I just don't understand why they can't continue to like I don't know, like because we've already said the numbers for Tenet weren't great.
Yeah. But that's why.
they haven't even made their money back on it though,
Yeah.
and you can't kick that down. I mean, Tenet is the type of movie that you make enough money that you're going to bankroll your projects moving forward, and now you got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie was expensive to make. They're using IMAX cameras. That's expensive.
Oh yeah.
You're doing all of those visual effects, even though they're, a lot of it was
practical.
practical,
Yeah.
but like those explosions and stuff in the buildings and all that stuff, making that look real,
Yeah.
like that is costly.
I just think,
mixing.
like,
and then on top of that, that cast.
No studio wants to be the one to take the risk. I get that, but like I feel like if they put a big name movie out there, people will go see it. I feel like if a Wonder Woman goes to theater, people will go see it.
I think
Yeah.
Bond's our only chance. to be honest. Like I think
because that's Wonder Woman's delayed, right?
it's 2021.
Yeah,
Well, they're saying maybe Christmas. They're talking about it. Just depends how the world is, but then it ain't going to show on Christmas.
No, this isn't going
Bond,
away
though,
this year. This COVID nonsense isn't going to be
No.
gone this year. So
even Bond, though, I do not think Bond gets people going.
you don't think?
Because
so?
I think that Bond is something that like a casual action watcher is not going to go see a Bond movie, because these newer Bonds are smarter. They're not just like your careless Bond flick. So like you could watch Casino Royale or something, and if you're not like really into it, you can get lost. You know, you have to be able to follow along as an audience member, and they kind of relish in that and like trust that the audience doesn't need everything spoon-fed to them.
Yeah.
So I know people that don't like the new Bonds because they're like, I don't fucking know what's happening. So
I get that. It is, but I mean, if honestly, if you break down most movies, like they all kind of fit a certain niche of people. Like a Bond movie is going to be guys. You know, it's similar. Audience wise, it's probably similar to a Tenet, a little bit more broad, but not much more broad than a Tenet.
It's just not going to be a $500 million movie.
No,
like,
absolutely not.
And that's what you need, though. Like Wonder Woman could be.
I think Wonder Woman would.
I think that's the movie that gets us back.
Me too. And then wait until next year. Wonder Woman, just the spectrum is so large. You've got women's interest in it because it's a female superhero. Yep. All the guys want to see it because of Gal Gadot.
Kids can see it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like that is a family-friendly movie. It's a movie that guys will go to. It's a movie that women will go to.
And it's building on the success of the most successful DC movie we've had so far.
Like they would kill it, I feel like.
Except for Shazam.
Greatest movie ever.
I don't know. It's just disheartening. I mean, granted, thankfully the year is almost over. Like it's coming quick. If we can just push through and we can get past the new year. I don't know if that means, like, I don't know if realistically, like January 1 movies, theaters are gonna be like, cool, let's, like, things are gonna be back to normal, because I don't think that's the case.
No.
We got COVID till March.
Easily.
Like, and
the next 3 to 4 months are gonna be the worst.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna be battling, is it COVID or is it the flu?
Right.
And no one's gonna fucking know.
We've already got kids that we've had sent home.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten tested. We don't know what it was, blah, blah, blah. Like 2 of my teachers have already tested. We're waiting on results.
What are you supposed to do? Every time a kid's got a freaking cough now, like it could be COVID. Like, the winter months here, it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
Like a lot of states won't have to worry about that. They don't have like a flu season, like Florida and stuff. They don't got to worry about that. But here, like, dude, I got a freaking sniffly nose and a sore throat every day once winter hits. It's because of the weather change and the cold and whatever. Like, I feel like shit. It just happens.
I'm outside it all day, so.
Yeah, like.
I woke up today and I was like, God, I got body aches and stuff. Maybe I should call off. And I was like, oh, fuck, I worked out for the first time in like 6 months yesterday.
Let's move to some video game news real quick.
Hell yeah. One good thing coming from 2020, baby.
So, well, first of all, before we get to that,
Xbox is coming out.
Microsoft has agreed to acquire ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Doom and Fallout studio Bethesda Softworks, for $7.5 billion in cash. The acquisition follows earlier Bethesda games coming to Xbox Game Pass and console on PC. Gentlemen, is this a good move or is this a bad move in terms of cross-marketing?
For Microsoft or for me?
Let's do both.
I'm devastated because I love Fallout and I'm not going to buy an Xbox. I think it's a good move for them. I don't think that it's the move that's going to get them on par with PlayStation. PlayStation still, even if they have, Elder Scrolls, Doom, and Fallout coming out and they make those exclusives on Xbox, is a superior system. It's got better specs, whatever. But the games aren't as good. And you're not going to catch up with Spider-Man and getting, Call of Duty early and all of this other stuff that PlayStation has to offer. So they're trying to make it more competitive because that's been their issue going, all the way back. But I think it's just a step in the right direction for them. I don't think that it's enough to beat Sony out at their own game.
Ryan, what do you think?
I think I look at the video game world as an iPhone Android thing. I think Xbox and PlayStation are the iPhone and Android. You're either iPhone or you're Android, and you're PlayStation or you're Xbox. I've owned Xbox my whole life. I have no desire to own a PlayStation. Now maybe a little bit. Like as I'm older, like I've considered going PlayStation, not in place of Xbox, but just as an additional. I think there's a very small percentage of people that look at the system based on specs. Right. Like they're so close nowadays, it doesn't really matter.
Well, neither one's a bad system.
No.
Like Sony's still going to blow your mind.
They're so
just
super close. Like it's so minimal that like, unless you're like a gaming fucking nerd, like hardcore, like I don't look at that shit. I don't even
Right.
compare it. So I think that this is a win for Microsoft. I mean, for Xbox, is it a make or break? No. You know, like it's cool. Fallout I never really played, which is odd because I know it gets super great reviews and I have a lot of friends that are big into it. I just never even tried it yet, but I mean, cool for Microsoft, maybe because they didn't get TikTok, they bought this instead. They had a little extra money to spend, so
I think like any console, like this goes back, you know, to Nintendo and Genesis days. Like you have games that are marketed exclusively for that console.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think from their end, like you guys said, it's a beautiful business move because they can say, look, you like this game. We know you like this game. So come play on our side.
It's tough though, because like that's been a thing forever. Like even like in the Nintendo and Genesis days, there's never been a game that was like enough that I was like, I'm going to go spend $500 on a new system because I want to play one game. You know, like if you own a PlayStation and you want to play Fallout, are you really going to spend $500 on an Xbox because you want to play Fallout?
And that's the thing too, is Bethesda's a great gaming company. They make incredible games, game of the year games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls, but those games haven't come out. You haven't seen the new Elder Scrolls in years. And Fallout has not had a great past couple of games. Like the one that took place in West Virginia, the last one, I think it was Fallout 76. Terrible reviews. People hated it. It was almost unplayable. And then the one before that, it was like, it's good, but it's not as good as Fallout 3. You got to go all the way back almost 10 years to find one that was really great. Even New Vegas people were like, you know, it's a step below 3. Whereas you look at Sony's getting these reveals, Gran Turismo looks amazing for people that play it. Spider-Man is going to be the thing that sells more than anything.
Yeah, that looks dope.
New God of War, which the last one was incredible, completely rechanged the game, went to Norse mythology, got away from the Greek, and it's still incredible. Eventually, they're going to have The Last of Us. That's going to be on there. Like, there's just so much great storytelling. And just incredible gameplay on top of it. The Arkham games are coming back. Those are all incredible. Game of the year for each one, I think. So you've got all of these things that are great games also. More recent, in like recent history, we've seen them. The hype is there. People will freak out when Elder Scrolls come out. But if I buy the PlayStation for all of these, you know, these 5 great games, I'm going to come over and, you know, game and play Fallout at your house a couple times, and that's it. Like, I'm not going to buy an entire system for
agree.
that.
It's an interesting acquisition by Microsoft because I don't know if there's more to it. Like, because I don't know like what their return on investment is going to be. Like, are they really expecting to get that much out of it? Like, I wonder going into it what they really think their acquisition rate is going to be. You know, do they really think they're going to acquire those PlayStation customers to Xbox because they took over this franchise?
Maybe
I
not.
don't know.
But without titles, you're dead right on arrival.
Absolutely.
I mean, without those titles that are cherished amongst the community. Now, I know you mentioned those last few games had trouble and all that, but they do still have their fans.
For sure.
You know,
I mean, I love Fallout. I bought those games, but they weren't great.
But like, are you acquiring new? Because here's my thing: as an Xbox owner, like, I guess so when you buy, I don't know how this really works. When you buy a game for Xbox, not specifically for Xbox, so Call of Duty, they play on Xbox and PlayStation. When I buy the Xbox version, does any of that money go to Xbox?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because you could buy it for PlayStation as well. So is most of the money going to, is it Activision that makes that Call of Duty? I don't know, to whoever who makes it, like whoever the production company is.
I can't think
like, does it make a difference what platform you're buying it on? Like, are those system holders receiving an income?
Yeah, I think that gets split between the systems. And that's why the exclusives are so crazy because like Sony still owns Spider-Man, so they're never going to give that up because those games sell so much. But I think the ultimate thing is that it's an incentive for you to buy that system. Because that's what everybody bought Xbox when it first came out because of Halo. And that was the type of game where you wanted to play Halo, you know? I think that if Xbox really wanted to make a move to get people, they shouldn't have gone to Bethesda. They should have bought somebody like Rockstar.
Grand Theft Auto.
And got GTA and stuff, because that is a game people will buy a system for. But like,
see, Microsoft and Sony are such big companies though that I'd be curious to know what portion of their revenue is from the gaming systems. Because I mean, you got to think, how many new systems are they selling? When's the last PlayStation? When did it come out? How many years ago?
8, I believe.
Really?
7 or 8. It's been,
It's been that long since 4?
Yeah.
Oh God,
because I looked it up the other day. I think it was 2012.
I feel like
it's early 10s. Yeah.
I
It's
feel
12
like
or 13.
I remember when I felt like it was a new system every winter.
Yeah.
There's a new one every winter.
Felt
No,
like that for
there's a
while.
decent amount of time even between 3 and 4.
Okay, that's because I was trying to think to myself. I'm like, what percentage of a revenue stream are the systems for? Because Sony isn't. It's got to be a small drop in the bucket.
Well, yeah.
PlayStation's,
Electronics, movies.
Yeah. So it's like the new acquisition's there, but I don't think they're banking too much on of like a make or break for their company on if they're gonna how many PlayStations they're gonna sell this year or Xboxes they're gonna sell this year. Like I don't know. It seems like it's got to be a small denominator. I mean, it's an investment for them. Obviously, they make income, but
The
as
last
anything
report
is.
that I saw was something like, I think they're only making like $15 on each system.
yeah,
But then you're selling, you know, 500 million systems or
They
something.
sell that many.
Oh, yeah. Over from the time that they start to the end. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I wonder
And then
how
you
many
think
people
about-
are gonna buy. Like how many current PlayStation holders are gonna go out and get the new one
I'm getting a day
at $500?
So good transition here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yes.
the PlayStation 5 has been marketed, the digital version of it has been marketed as a $500 price tag. My question to you guys is,
Digital's 300.
oh, is it 300?
Disc is 500.
Thank you for that. Okay. My question to you guys is, now $500, I'm sure you're going to pay it.
Hell yeah.
That there's no debate there.
Steph know that?
Yeah. I already told her.
Would you have paid more, and how much more?
I would have paid anything.
I think
for
you
that.
said you were gonna. I think what we initially thought it was gonna be like $750. You were like, yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm gonna drop $1,000.
If it was 1,000, that would be the first time that I would really think about it. But I'm going to get 8 years of fun out of this thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think twice about the 500 price tag. Like I'm planning on dropping $1,000 on this because I'm going to get
Yeah, by
or
By the time you're done,
on Black Friday. My plan is to go and get the PlayStation, a 4K TV that I can run the 4K games and the movies and stuff on.
Yeah.
The headset that comes with it, and then whatever games are available, which will probably be, I think Spider-Man will be available then, and then I'll probably get I don't know if I'm going to get the Madden yet or not. The ratings aren't great, but I'm kind of tired of EA being in charge of it. But so yeah, I'm looking at dropping $1,000, and we've already discussed that it's happening.
So 500 is definitely not a problem.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get the TV if it was $1,000 console, but that's about it. I would have had to saved up for that.
It's wild. Yeah, I don't know. The digital, what does that mean?
So the digital doesn't come with the disc drive. So everything
So you
is
don't
just
get, the
purchased
4K
and you
player
get
and
the
stuff included with
And
it.
they
Right.
and they said Spider-Man takes up. I read something like Spider-Man takes up an astronomical
Yeah.
amount of data.
It's one thing that I do not like about the new breeds of systems is that you
have to
have
have
to-
an external hard drive.
yeah, well, no, not even just that. I hate that you have to download the game onto the system to play it, but then if you have a disc, you have to put the disc in still.
Yeah, I do think that's dumb.
And I just think it's dumb. I just want to put the disc in and play it. Like I don't like. I hate that you have to download it, spend all these hours downloading it, and you have to have an external drive just to be able to use the system you just bought. It should work.
Yeah.
What's the
It
point?
should work out of
Yeah.
box. I shouldn't have to have anything extra to do it.
Yeah.
Like that's just silly to me. Like I don't. Did they get to that point away from disk for faster loading? Because it's native to the system.
I think it's just
Or like why can't
ease
you
of
just put the disc in and
purchase.
play?
It's just ease of purchase that way. You can put the file online and still make the same amount of money off of it, and then you don't have to worry about sellouts or anything.
I get if they're gonna do that, then if you just make it online. Like
But-
why do I need to have the disc still then?
Yeah, but I heard that it's going to be like a terabyte of storage on this thing, but the
Crazy.
games are like 350 gigs easily.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty, I think is like a 450 gig
It's
game at this
huge.
point because of Verdansk and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
you have all of that crap going on, and then
Video games are wild, man.
I don't know, man.
I
It's-
enjoy it, but
I had to get the external hard drive because of Call of Duty because I literally was deleting everything else off of
Yeah.
it.
I've got
And-
2 external hard drives for my Xbox.
One really dope thing about
Stupid.
PlayStation,
It's so silly.
and I don't know if you saw this, but they are going to have all of their major games. So Uncharted, The Last of Us, the first Spider-Man, all these PlayStation 4 greats
Mhm.
automatically available if you have PlayStation Plus once you buy your PS5.
Oh wow!
So even if only Spider-Man, the Miles Morales one is out, you can buy that and maybe Madden. And if you're I don't have anything to play, you can play all of those other games that you've never had for free, available instantly if you're on PlayStation
oh my
Plus.
god,
It's crazy.
Jesus!
So
man.
I think that's God of War. I think it's Uncharted, Spider-Man.
And it'll probably look better because, I mean, you know, it's a new console.
Hell
it's updated.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I've been playing through God of War right now, and it looks incredible. I can't imagine what that PS5 is going to look like.
Oh.
I don't know if I would spend what Jesse's willing to spend, honestly. Like, I think I spent...
We talking $5 or $750?
Even $5's a lot, man. I think on my current Xbox, I probably spent $250, maybe $300 on it, and I've had that thing for several years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't turn my Xbox on, really, like hooked it up until we started playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, see,
And that's all I've played since I've turned it on. I've got a bunch of games. I haven't bought a new game.
Yeah.
I haven't downloaded anything.
Mm-hmm.
When my Xbox turns on, Call of Duty,
to be
it
fair,
turns off.
you don't have any games to play because it's Xbox.
This fucking guy. I've got a lot of games to play. but
That was good, though. You guys kept it civil for pretty long.
this fucking guy.
For real, though, like if you had Spider-Man, bro, Spider-Man is an incredible game. It's so much fun. It's like watching a movie.
I've got games, though, man. There was a period of time where I was super into it, like where I would buy NBA games, NFL games. I got Mortal Kombat. Like I would play it. I've got on my. I mean, like I said, I've got
like
2 external hard
repetitive,
drives. But dude, I'll get through a game and then it's done. Like
that's true. I haven't played Spider-Man since I beat it, but when I was playing it, it was hours at a time of just incredible like side missions and open world. I mean, it's a great game.
I feel like I might not buy a new one until I need to. Like I don't know. Like the new Xbox, I've been teetering on getting a PlayStation because I've got a lot of friends that, you know, you guys are into PlayStation and like there's certain games I could play together with you guys if I had it. But I don't know if I'm to a point where like it's enough for me to just get one just to get one. So I don't know. I might. Like I got a money spending issue anyways.
For me,
Black Friday I might do it. I mean that's like 3 pairs of like really good shoes. So I don't know.
See, that's where we differ. I don't give a shit about shoes.
I don't know.
But see, spending that kind of money, it's really what you're passionate about. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like me, it's not nowhere near the same money. But like I go out and I want to buy movies. So like, you know, I've got 3 yard sales coming up this weekend. So I'm going to drop probably close to $100 in DVDs.
Well, and that's my thing too, is
out them hundos. Like, I'm going to take all of that.
PS5 is an upgraded movie player for me too, though.
The 4K.
Because
true.
I want the 4K because I don't have a 4K TV right now, so I haven't bought any of that stuff.
Right. Dude, mine.
So now going forward, like PS3 came out and I was like, sweet, it's a Blu-ray player also. Like Blu-ray players are $200. I might as well get this. That's what sold me on that.
Right.
Then PS4 came out. It was still Blu-ray, but you know, you had the Ultra HD and stuff that you could play on that.
That's so
with the newer one. And now I've got a 4K player, which those are expensive. So it's doubling down on my value for that. Like I knew as soon as it came out, I'm getting the one with the disc because I want to watch
my
4K Avengers Endgame.
That's how they get you, because they go, well, if you're going to buy a video game system, you might as well buy a new player too. You know. Last thing, I'm not sure. Ryan, have you watched any of The Boys this year?
The what?
The Boys on Amazon Prime.
I tried watching like.
You didn't watch the first season.
I would say when you guys talked to me about it, I watched like the first 2, and I couldn't get. I don't know. I couldn't get into like the made up superheroes.
Okay. Dude. What do you think so far? You've watched them all, right?
Watched them all. I'm all caught up
to 5.
Spoilers
alert.
Yeah.
Dude. All right. So I don't know anything about the comics or the graphic novels, whatever they are.
Borrow them sometime.
I heard that Stormfront was like a neo-Nazi or something in the comic. I did not see her hooking up with Homelander. I really thought that they were going to clash big time, and then that was going to be like his downfall. Like I didn't like the idea of what was going to happen, but I thought for sure it was going to be a clash, and then he was going to have to help to take her down. And I was like, I don't want that fucking team up with Butcher and him or something like stupid like that. Now I'm like, holy shit. How are they ever going to possibly stop these two? Because she looks like she's as powerful as him or damn close to it.
And that's the way he, I should say, is kind of illustrated in the comics, is that it's very much a beat for beat Homelander, or that's the name, right? Homelander?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much a Homelander, but for another group that isn't introduced into this television incarnation.
Okay.
For me, why I felt that those two were going to get together, first of all, the energy between them, you could tell something's going on there. Like, it's a can you top this kind of thing. And I knew once that was going to evolve into something sexual, especially since he's missing Madeline right now.
That's for sure.
You knew someone had to fill that void, and she's very much a powerful female character. For me, I think also Homelander's pissing everybody else off right now.
For
Like
sure.
he's alienating everybody in his clique. So like it's basically Homelander versus the rest of the boys right now.
Yeah.
And like as powerful as he is, you need some backup, man, because these guys are gonna fuck you up.
Well, and
sooner or
that's my
later.
other thing is I want to see. I know how strong Homelander is.
Mhm.
Like I look at him and I'm like, all right, it's Superman. I get it, you know.
Captain America.
And between his, you know, vision of like mowing down all those people with his laser eyes, which was dope.
Yeah.
But like, I get how powerful he is.
Mhm.
But like when you look at people like, you know, the Deep.
Yeah.
He's basically Aquaman, but how powerful is he really? Can he catch a car? Can he take a bullet?
So
like whatever.
So here's my thing I don't get. Is it supposed to be like, is that their thing? The
Yes.
knockoff superhero thing?
Yes, because
Yeah.
Billy Butcher's a Punisher.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like what I got out of it when I first watched
I never
it.
thought of that. That makes sense though.
Like I couldn't get into it because I was like, this is like this is like the
It's Justice League.
No, what's that?
A-Train's Flash. Maeve is
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
It was like
Homelander is Superman.
yeah.
The Deep is Aquaman. And
the Wish
Black
version
Noir is
of
Batman.
superheroes.
The what?
It's like the Wish version of superheroes.
The Wish version.
But like they can't use.
That's what I got out of it. I was like, I can't get into this.
I still got to
think
get
it's
on there
dope.
sometime.
I think it's dope. I love how dark it is. Like
I know you guys really liked it. I don't know.
And
I want to like it. Like I want to get into it. I just couldn't get past the first.
I just went into it thinking like this is what real superheroes would be like.
Yeah.
They'd just be total fucking assholes.
It's good on that front because it kind of portrays superheroes as honest for once. And on the same ground, it also spoofs everything that we've been taught in terms of superhero film genres.
Yeah.
So like it breaks down every convention and it pokes fun at all of them, you know, and it's basically, I mean, it is a great big spoof, but it's one that we're also intrigued by and entertained by. And even though its budget is very minimal for the first season, like it doesn't feel like it lacks anything compared to those properties.
I think maybe I was disappointed because I didn't know that going in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't realize that's what it was going in, so I was kind of disappointed. But like knowing that that's like what it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
I think if I gave it a second chance, I might be more into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think
You guys
second
talk it up,
season
so.
where it's at compared to the first right now?
Oh, I love it still.
Do
I mean,
you think
it's-
neck and neck, or do you think
it might be one step below,
I'm the
but
same way?
but it's close. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm talking like A+ to A-. Like
I'm
I
still
still
psyched
think
to
they're
see
both great. And you said we have 3 episodes left now. I love how they've shown more of them teaming up,
Mhm.
but I want to see an epic battle.
Mhm.
Like I want to see superhero on superhero, big time fight that we haven't seen yet. Like Butcher's not going to be able to kill them.
Mhm.
Like he's just not going to be able to do it. Like there's got to be some type of creative thing that happens in order to take them down, and I am pumped to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I won't say anything because, like, if you ever want to borrow my,
Is it true to the comics or is it?
No,
Okay, good.
not at all. Like, and what I like about that is it's 2 varying worlds. There's similarities here and there that you find along the way. Like this week, his dog popped up. I can't
Right.
think of the name right now, but once I saw the dog, I was like, oh shit, yes,
Terror or something. isn't it?
Terror, yeah. Once I saw Terror, I was like, oh god, and it had me thinking all the things that he does in the comics. But I need to remember this is not the comics.
Right.
This is a completely different form, and I think they can both coexist.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be dope though. I can't wait.
But that's it for Hollywood Report.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, check out The Boys if you haven't yet.
Highly recommend.
Get to the freaking movie theaters.
Yeah.
COVID's not that scary. Put your mask on and go watch a damn movie.
Yeah.
Yep. The delicious popcorn, and you can get a large icy beverage and some candy and save the movies. It's pretty simple. Let's get social.
It is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the news goes.
Oh, Bill. Yes,
Good
you
old
did.
Bill Clinton. I wish we could vote him again. I would vote for Bill Clinton again.
Ooh, I wouldn't.
No?
Bill looks like he's dead.
But I mean, like, would you have taken him back as a president?
Oh, I don't know. I was like 3, dude. I don't
No,
remember.
he
what
wasn't
did.
that bad.
That was like the best economy we've ever had.
Yeah,
but-
dude. I liked
so-
Bill. I would definitely re-vote him if we could.
boy.
Yeah. I mean, I'd vote him over the 2 options we have today.
Oh, yeah.
Or-
That's not a.
I would do that.
Let's get social. What do we got going on? What do we want to start with?
Doesn't matter.
IX Center closing.
Sure.
Well, we were talking about movie theaters, I guess, and their fate is in our hands. There's businesses that unfortunately their fate has been a demise, and they're no longer going to be with us. IX Center's one. Menchie's Ice Cream. Are they an Ohio-based
It's not
company?
ice cream. It's frozen yogurt, and it's
Whatever.
fucking ass.
Are they Ohio-based?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I thought someone
They're
said
not
like an
anything now.
Ohio-based company, or maybe it's just the Ohio locations are closing.
I've never seen them anywhere else out of state.
Yeah, I don't know. But Menchie's custard or frozen
yogurt, not custard either. That's
is-
also good, delicious.
is closing either in general or their Ohio locations or something, but they've fallen victim to COVID. The IX Convention Center in Cleveland has announced they will be open through the remainder of the year, and then that they will cease to exist.
Where am I going to go to meet someone?
500
A party on after dark.
So cool, so fun.
Dude,
what a great place to meet someone.
I got a picture with Joe Exotic's tiger at frickin' IX Center.
No, you don't.
I swear to you. Yes.
I want visual proof.
I will find it. I got a picture with one of his tigers at the IX Indoor Amusement Park.
Wow.
Yes. I got to find that picture. I was probably like 8 or 9 or so, but it's pretty legit.
I puked off the Ferris wheel.
Did you?
I did.
I've never been on that Ferris wheel.
No?
Nope.
It's not bad.
I don't like Ferris
It's
wheels.
open all year. I mean, that's not part of just like the amusement park. It's there all the time. But
yeah.
Dude, I used to love going to the indoor amusement park
Yeah.
there. I've gone to the car show there every year since I've lived in Ohio with my
Yeah.
dad. It's like a tradition. We go every single year, me and my brothers.
The classics underneath,
Yes.
like downstairs.
I'm really bummed.
Yeah.
I think they said they have like 500 some employees. I mean,
that's crazy.
the tax revenue in itself for Cleveland is a huge loss.
Mhm.
I mean, and that's a big space.
Yeah.
What are you going to put? It's probably going to be a freaking Amazon fulfillment center.
It probably will
Oh
be.
my God, you're right.
I'm serious.
That's
Like, what
exactly
else are you
what
going
it's
to put
gonna
there?
be.
It's huge.
Yep, that's exactly what it'll end
It's
up
either
being.
going to be something like that, or it's going to have to be broken up into like smaller facilities to be used because no one's going to take on that spot.
And that you and I were talking off air before the episode started, and that was my kind of thing I was struggling with all of this is that so the IX Center, it's basically weekend after weekend they have somebody rent out that floor and put something in there.
Yep.
Like that just seems strange to me because they're not a business like Giant Eagle, we'll say for instance,
Right.
who has to be open every day. Otherwise it's gone. There's no way that can survive without it
Yeah.
with all they buy up and all that.
Yeah.
The IX Center is just a building that's kind of there.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual like operating costs are.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sure
It's probably just rent.
I would say I'm sure it's the rent, the upkeep as far as electric and stuff like that, and then staffing the people. I mean, they've got full-time and part-time based on the article I was reading, you know.
So they do have full-time employees
Oh,
there all
yeah.
the time.
Yep.
Wow.
Because I mean, it's in a normal everyday season,
Mhm.
there's something every week. It's not just weekends.
Yeah.
There's something there all the time. Like when the auto show goes on, it's not just like a Friday, Saturday thing. It'll be for 3 weeks.
Mhm.
And the auto show will be there. You can go any day for 3 weeks. So, I mean, and then like they do the home and garden show.
Yeah.
And that'll be like from a Friday to a Sunday, like for a full week. So I just think that I mean, as a business owner, if you're the owner of the IX Convention Center, if that's your job and you can't have events, you have no income,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't know. Like it's just sad. It opens the door obviously for other people. I mean, to take on these events.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we talked about before the show, like, or one of us brought it up about Akron possibly
Yeah.
taking it on. An Akron person will travel to Cleveland to go to something.
Not vice
Yeah.
versa.
I don't think you're getting that right. Like like people that are from our area are used to traveling to Cleveland to go to sports and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't see that happening in return. Like I don't foresee that coming this way,
No.
you know, and I don't know what that's going to mean for like Cleveland's already been at the fate of the economy for a long time. You know, it's not the best living conditions up there. Like it's a poor area for a lot of the areas. And then to lose that, I mean, I can't imagine what they bring in there for revenue.
I don't know why I'm asking you this, but side question during that whole car show, did you ever ride in the Jeep pit?
Hell yeah.
Dude, that was so
Oh,
much
yeah.
fun. They had the real dirt set up and like it was
Yes.
this big pit. You go up this huge
They still do
hill.
it.
Yeah.
They do it every year. So like in the Jeep section of the car
Yeah.
show, they have like where you can ride in a Jeep and it's like an obstacle course.
Oh, that's dope.
And you go up like super steep inclines and you like go over rocks.
I've only ever gone to the car show one time.
Dude, it's dope. Yeah, that someone did it this past year or this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I went this year.
It was
crazy
March,
to think
wasn't
that
it?
I went this year because of COVID. Like you forget that you actually did stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always February or March. And somebody else had like piggybacked off that another car company was doing, and I was like Mercedes or something.
Mercedes.
So they're gone, and then TikTok, surprisingly, they were, as of yesterday, they were supposed to be gone,
Mm-hmm.
and
I'm not leaving.
they're not leaving. They're not fucking leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on.
Thankfully, the show goes on.
This is my home. They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here.
For those of you who don't know, that's TikTok CEO talking to Donald Trump and saying they ain't fucking going nowhere.
I wish that clip had they're gonna need the National Guard.
Yeah. I'm stoked though, because I've built myself one hell of an algorithm on TikTok and I like my feed, and I would be very saddened if it was no longer with me.
As of yesterday, it was supposed to be gone, and it's still in my Play Store. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
That purchase scares me.
I don't know if it was the CEO. It was a woman. I don't know who their owner is, but TikTok had like so like on TikTok when you're on your inbox, like we're on Facebook, you'd see like people that have commented on your stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
They had at the very top, there was a window that was a TikTok video, and it was them announcing like, we're here to stay, like we're not going anywhere, thank you for your support type thing.
Yeah.
But those of you that don't know, if you're living under a rock, our president of the United States of America doesn't like TikTok, and he wants them to go away.
Yeah.
So he was.
They ruined my Tulsa meeting.
Jesse and a bunch of other assholes bought all of his campaign tickets. So he has some vendetta against TikTok and was getting them shut down for national security. And as of Sunday night, you were supposed to no longer be able to download it. It would stay on your phone because they can't remove it from your. They probably could. Fucking Apple put YouTube on my phone without me to know.
Yeah.
So.
Did I tell you guys about the Trump email that I got from the latest TikTok thing?
Yes.
Did we do it on the podcast though?
The one about, no, I don't know. Hold on. Go ahead.
So the latest TikTok thing that they did was he was giving out free signs.
Oh yeah.
And so they were like, well, let's just all get signs and waste millions of dollars. I didn't get mine, but we'll waste millions of his dollars and just throw them all away.
Right.
So I was like, sign me up. I loved the Tulsa thing.
Sign me up.
So
yeah.
So I start getting all these emails from him. But this is a email that I got from the Trump-Pence Make America Great Again campaign.
God.
Jesse, can you meet me in Washington, D.C.? The first presidential debate is coming up soon, and I could really use the help of one of my best supporters like you to prepare. I'm inviting you to meet in the nation's capital so that we can discuss what my debate strategy will be. I am only reaching out to a few patriots that I trust with this information, so please do not share this email. What the fuck, dude?
Meet me under the bridge behind Washington.
Yeah, you did share that on here.
I've been tweeting at him trying to get put up on the back seat. Like I just want to be right there behind him during the debate. It's like, thank you. I'm one of your best patriots.
Yeah. So TikTok is
Fucking
here
idiot.
to stay. Thankfully, whether I'm too old for it or not, that's your opinion. I like it. It's fun. It's comical.
See ya.
And there's booties on there. Yeah, the songs are catchy. And people it's pretty cool to see like that platform changing people's lives the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like people like quitting their jobs
I feel like TikTok is one of the easiest things to become super viral at.
Yeah.
I sent you guys that screenshot of that one girl, 88 million followers.
That's insane.
I want to know who has the most, but I gotta imagine she's close to it.
Gotta be.
How many people are in the United States?
And she
What's
didn't even have her booty out.
population? No.
And we're talking post-COVID. Well, during
88 million people, bro. You know how much money that chick is making?
Oh, a lot.
Big money. Big money. There's a guy that I follow, Mr. Hamilton. He's a teacher.
Yeah.
Just quit.
Oh,
to pursue being a TikTok. He's got 4.5 million followers.
Yeah. I'd be
He's
down.
going to be he wants to be a voice actor. He said he wants to be the next Robin Williams. With all due respect, he says. He's a big fan and he would like to be the next Robin Williams.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
But like people are like just up and dropping. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like that fame comes and goes quick. You just gotta be careful.
My cousin's got like 35,000
It'll die.
followers on TikTok.
That's wild, bro.
She was a cop. She's got some. She put up a video saying that she was quitting to, use her degree in psych.
Yeah.
And got like 670,000 likes on it or something crazy.
Wow.
Jeez.
One person was like, "Hey, congratulations, but you should get a new camera person." She was like, "Well, she's 9, so."
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, man. So that's just crazy. I thought that was crazy to me anyways. I still, like we talked about it last week. I don't understand how he has any place in trying to decide whether that company stays up or not, but
yeah, I don't know.
They ain't going anywhere. So thankfully we will still have our ticks and talks for the next, for as long as we do.
That's right.
I enjoy it. So, what else? Oh, there was a crazy shooting, like literally walking distance from my house last Friday.
Yeah.
At a high school football game. It was at Ellett.
It was Firestone versus East at Ellett because
at the
that's
Jarvis Landry
East's.
Stadium.
Yeah. That was is it Jarvis Landry? I thought it was Miles Garrett.
Garrett donated it. Yeah.
It was Miles Garrett?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Jarvis Landry. One of those guys that play on that team.
Yeah. But yeah, East uses it as their home field.
Crazy, bro. I mean, that's sketchy. I mean, that's close.
Yeah.
Like I know this stuff happens all over, but like
it
the
doesn't
saying
happen
that's
in
close
Ellett,
to home, that's close, man.
Yeah.
Like that is right
Ellett,
over there.
Ellett is not typically where that type of thing goes down, regardless of who is playing.
That's why they're vulnerable, though. They're ripe for the picking with people like that. You know,
that's the thing is, it's like football games. That's like an unspoken rule. Like you don't do that shit.
Yeah,
that's like
it's shitty.
You just don't bring that shit to the high school football games where people are at.
Not COVID.
Buddy of mine was there, 15 feet away from it.
Sketchy,
because he teaches at East, and that's the thing is that whole entire game, it's only family and faculty allowed at these games. So he was there with his wife. Luckily, they didn't have their baby with them.
Yeah,
and he said that he heard somebody like stomping up the stairs.
Holy hell.
And just kind of like turned around like, who the fuck is making all this noise? Like, you're at a football game. What are you guys mouthing about? And as soon as he turned around, the dude reached and he knew and grabbed her and ran. And like, they just bounced as quick as possible. And I mean, it's just crazy. Dude got shot in the arm. Some woman got shot in the leg.
Did you guys see the video? Like the cheerleader video? I was going to send it to you that day. I'll see if I can find it again. There's a video somebody has, looks like the front row of the stands. They're obviously focusing on their daughter who's a cheerleader down there. And, she's, doing her moves and all that. And then
give me an A.
She turns around. I think they get done. They all turn around and then they're walking back to the bench. And then you just hear like going off, just screaming everywhere. The camera goes all, jumping and everything. Yeah, it's so surreal, and you could tell it was very close by.
Yeah. It's all, from what I've heard from the person that works there, it's definitely gang-related. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that we've seen so much this year. We've had 4 shootings at not at my school, but, in my community with former or current students of mine. One of which was killed before school started. Another one who was shot had to have a bunch of his intestines removed. I had him last year. And then one of them was shot with my student who was killed, recovered, was fine. And they went back and shot him again a week later, which is just like unheard of. Like usually you shoot somebody, they try to lay low. Like this is one of the most deadly seasons for both Akron and Canton. And it's fucking kids killing kids, man. Like it's crazy. Like I'm pretty sure the shooter's like 19, or the guy that got shot was 19, and it was planned. Like he cut the fence, because I saw the report and they were like, oh, he ran off in an undisclosed direction or an unverified direction. I'm like, there is no, like the fences are 20 feet high around that stadium. Where the fuck could he have gone?
Yeah.
He cut the fence, snuck in without a ticket, shot the guy, and then ran back out through the fence. Yeah. They didn't catch him.
You guys, it's 1993 is over. Let the gang thing go. I mean, for Christ's sake, like this is ridiculous. Life is too short. It's too fragile. Don't throw your life away by throwing someone else's life away too.
I've always found it just to be a fucking bitch move. Like, handle your shit like an adult.
Yeah.
Be mature. Like, going to fucking shoot somebody is the biggest fucking cowardly thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are or what the situation is. Like, that's just a bitch move.
Well, the thing is
like, as a kid in a place like that, you're putting other families at risk, little kids at risk.
Inducing panic.
Like, come on. That's scarring, man.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Like, that's something those people will live with for the rest of their life. And that's just not okay.
And, like, what are they even like? What are people fighting over? Because I know in my experience with my students that have either been involved or been shot, my building, we've had, I think, 8 people die that I've directly had contact with since I've started teaching 7 years ago. And none of them are pushing major drugs. Right. None of them are holding down streets. Like, you talk about the 90s, at least then, like, that was during, like, real drug times, like, that was when gangs really were running parts of places.
Right.
That stuff does not happen anymore.
No.
Like, even in places where you're talking about, like, Chicago and all that, you've got some of it, but a lot of it is it's just drama.
Right.
Like, none of my kids have any money. They're not coming in all fresh from selling drugs or anything. They're all coming in dirt poor. They don't have any semblance of,
They're just
anything.
These kids are just trying to survive.
And it turns into drama, but I don't know how the culture has evolved to this, but I feel like old gangster culture at least had some form of a rules or respect.
Right.
Even in its deadliest times, like, you didn't just kill to kill off of something dumb.
Right.
And now kids kill, like, over, the most trivial things.
Yeah.
And it's just sickening. I don't know how to fix it. That's one of the reasons why we want to do that greenhouse thing, is just give kids an outlet to do something, and if it's successful, to expand. But
I'm over
kids need to
the
get in
point.
sports and clubs and crap like that.
An interest, positive interest.
But I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Like, I'm just so over it. I'm just so sick of it. Like, I'm a pro gun person. I believe to have it, but at this point, like, I'm honestly at the point where I'm just like, take guns away.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's not realistic. I know realistically that's not going to fix it. But I'm also to the point where if they told me tomorrow, like, if we did that it would make a difference and it would stop. I honestly, I'm to the point where I'd almost be willing to give up my rights to it.
Yeah.
Because I'm so sick of it happening. I'm so sick of seeing people die. When it's kids, it's just the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you have your whole life ahead of you, and to throw it away over something so trivial.
Right.
As like, what do they get in a fight over? That's that big of a deal. You're going to pull out a gun and try and kill someone.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is
Come
it's
on,
like,
man.
You always see, because I look at the news and I don't comment on it because I don't know what my rights are as a teacher to comment on it. I don't want to lose my job over anything because I know them. But, like, I've seen truly, because there are some awful kids, and I know that they're kids, but there are some truly terrible people, even at a young age, that I have seen die and been memorialized.
Yeah.
And people who don't know the story going, oh my God, they were taken so young. How did they do this to this precious person? And then I've seen great kids that get wrapped up in stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I had one kid who, he didn't kill anybody, but he was with people when they did.
Yep.
And he's now spending the rest of his life in jail.
Yeah. Is it worth it?
And he was a great kid. He tried his best. That's the other thing. In my experience, these are kids with, low IQs. They're usually, I don't know.
It's just sickening, man. And it's one of those things where I feel like we're also helpless to make a difference.
Yeah.
Because what do we do to really try and find a way to make change? Better after school programs or get kids involved in sports or something positive, but this has been going on forever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's just everything that we have going on in this world.
I think poverty is the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
I do think mental stuff is also, like, it's just,
I just can't imagine I can't imagine being in a place where, like, I wake up and I'm, like, totally content with, I'm going to fucking pick up a gun and kill someone and, like, not think twice of it.
I don't think, and that's the thing, is I don't think it's not like, you always grow up and you hear people say, like, it's hard to kill somebody, but it's not hard to kill somebody. It's easy to pull a trigger.
Yep.
It might be might be hard to live with it afterwards.
Yep. Killing someone.
And some people I know, I've taught murderers. Yeah. I've taught rapists. It's not the majority of what I do, but I've taught these people, and, like, some of them don't care.
No. They don't have any sense of remorse, or they don't find value in life.
Yeah. And I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you can. I've tried to picture it in my head. Like I've tried to put myself in that position where I shoot somebody and I see their body go limp.
Dude, I can't imagine.
And I just walk away like there's nothing.
Mm-mm.
I mean, we've had shootings where we see photos posted of them with their buddies an hour later at a party. And it's like, I don't know how
I cannot imagine
you could
that,
transition that.
I think it's one of those things like you have to put your own experiences into it too. And like, so we were just talking about that as far as, you know, you said you could never think about waking up and wanting to take a life and all that. And me too. And there's two things that go into that. One, I have empathy for anybody, even someone I hate. I'm more likely to just beat your ass than to
and then I still feel bad.
Yeah. But I mean, at least if I punch somebody in the face or something like that, I'm like, they're going to walk away from it.
Right.
Like you might take a second getting back up, but you're going to walk away. And two, I think about the consequences. I'm like, my ass would do no good in jail. And I would probably just off myself. I hate to say that, but I probably would. So to me, I think about those two things a lot. And then I think about the other, like the people committing these, like what's the disconnect there? Is it what you said? Is it intelligence? Like, is it just that they don't factor in those things when it happens?
I think that, I mean, the official terms are like, whatever, I don't even know, but these kids are slow. Typically they're low functioning, they're impulsive, ADHD, non-medicated. You know, there's all these different things that you get with these kids whenever they're in school. They're tested for all this stuff. They're ADHD,
right?
They're emotionally disturbed, they're oppositional defiant, like they are reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that there's so much connection that for us, like we grew up in an era where you fought, beat me outside the school and you beat their ass. That's and right. Then it was done.
That's it.
And these kids are so connected with everything. I think that respect is almost a bigger thing to them because there's no escaping from it.
Yeah.
And that stuff is everywhere and you'll put somebody on blast like crazy. And for them, that just means so much more. So you do that for a reactionary person who's trying to portray themselves as this person with power because they have no power. They have no money. They have, you know, terrible households. They've raised themselves from the times that they were little, which they're not really raising anything. They're just surviving.
Right.
So you get this illusion of power and now somebody's challenged it. And I don't know. I think that it's a reactionary primal instinct. You know, we get that instinct where, you know, Chris, you piss me off. I'm going to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm going to think, well, Chris is my buddy. Do I really want to do this? He's bigger than me, you know, whatever. They don't do that. They're going to haul off and punch you. And I'm going to sit here getting my ass beat by you. And I'm not going to think about the consequences. And so that's why you get, you know, me having to pull people apart at fights and over stupid stuff. And that's not to say every single gang member is that way, but a lot of them are. Mm-hmm. You know, the head of one of our gangs down in freaking Canton is like a kid that had a 60 IQ.
Right.
And he runs the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, he's not doing anything though. He's not like sitting high up with a bunch of people working underneath him like some type of old mafioso. Like nobody is like a freaking Larry Hoover anymore. Those don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's no major gangs that are running things in these major cities. Like it's all little branches of wannabe gangsters that aren't doing anything, that are broke as hell.
And that's worse in a lot of ways.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was structure and stuff to people like Larry Hoover's gangs.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got your ass beat if you raped somebody or if you used drugs or something. And like, yes, they were bloody and deadly, but like, it's just, I don't know. There was at least some structure to it. None of it is good, but now you've got this crap just blowing off everywhere.
Spontaneity.
Yep. I mean, and gang culture is not, I mean, I remember in high school, we were North Side gang because we grew up on the North Side and our colors were green and everybody knew it, but like nobody was real. And like, but everybody knew the hand signs. Everybody knew the colors. Everybody knew who was what. And like, if you got in a fight, you might even yell it out. You're not, I never got initiated.
Right.
I fucking said it a couple of times. So did a bunch of friends of mine. It was just a fucking fake ass culture though.
There was a period of time there where people thought that was cool. Though. Like kids would do like blood symbols and throw up West Side and all their pictures. Like that was cool to do. It was like, this stigma. But I'm like, if any of those people that did that in like middle school and high school ever like try to get initiated gang, they're their ass beat and they'd be a scared little bitch.
That's
like,
exactly what I was going to say. I think the biggest misconception is that being in a gang is cool and all that. And like, you're not cool. It takes 5 of you to beat one guy down or whatever.
Right.
There's nothing cool about that. There's nothing manly about
a lot
that.
of people that are in true gangs get into that as a support system. Like they don't have a family. They don't feel like they have anything else.
Fair enough.
And that feels like, I'm not in like real gangs though. Like people that are like hardcore and like the Bloods and the Crips and shit like that. Like a lot of people go to that because they feel like that's all they have. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's like,
well, and that's the thing too,
it's
is like
poor, uneducated people in a bad living situation, and that's their out, and it makes them feel good.
And that's the way that I know that they're
void.
not gang members also, is like a lot of this stuff is gang related,
right?
But it's not even that really, because our big gangs are like 14th Street, Shorb, Rated, and all this other stuff, right? But like, they're all friends.
Yeah.
They just, you know, it's like it's like the wind. Like it changes like crazy.
Yeah.
And you got one person where we're going, it used to be when they came in, we would know, you know, hey, he's Shorb, he's 14th. Don't put them in the same class, or if you do, you better squash it ahead of time.
That's crazy.
But like nowadays, I don't know who's 14th. I don't know who's Shorb. I don't know who's Rated, because they'll come down claiming one thing the next day, and then they'll be doing something the next day. And I'll be like, hey, aren't you guys opposite? Oh, no, man. I grew up over there. And then, you know, a week later, somebody gets shot, and you hear that it's gang related. And I'm like, is it really though? Or is it just fucking idiots?
That's what the media puts it against. They put it as gang related because that's just what we want to hear. That's what we need to hear.
It's not even the media though. Like that's just word of mouth. Like kids don't even know what's what anymore.
Yeah. It's just silly, man.
The whole thing's dumb.
Let it go.
I mean, that's one thing that really weighs on me when that shit happens. Like when I heard about that shooting at Ellett, I was physically ill. I mean, I was between that and like the shootings I had already had to deal with this year. Like I just, that's one thing that I have a very hard time handling.
It just got me to the point where it's like, I don't want to do anything. Like I'm not scared. Like I carry, I have firearms and stuff, but like, I'm just so over everything that's going on. It's like, I don't even want to just go out. I don't even want to be around people. Like I'm just so over people as a whole and just how awful we are to each other. It's like, I don't even want to interact with anyone. I don't want to fucking go out and do anything with anyone. Like that, like I was sitting on my freaking couch watching a movie or something. And I know I get a message online about it. And I'm like, cool. 2 minutes down the street from me, there's fucking shooting going on.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck, man?
And probably over nothing.
Yeah, over nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just so over it. Like, we really need to fucking figure it out because it's getting old. It's been old for a long time. Last thing that we had to talk about was Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yep.
Passed away 85?
I think 87.
87. She was sitting on the Supreme Court justice forever. I mean, she's literally been on there forever.
It's been like 30 years.
Yeah. I know it was like 25 or more years.
I think it's 27 years.
She's been on there for a long time. Those who aren't familiar with who she is big for like justice for women and stuff, women equality.
Yep.
She's been fighting for stuff for a long time for change, and it's a big blow. She's had a lot of health things going on for the last. I mean, she's fallen, broken her hip, like
cancer, which is what ultimately
she passed away from, was from cancer. But she's been fighting for a long time.
She stays physical too. Like she on that RBG documentary, which is outstanding and everybody should see it.
Yeah.
She had a hell of a workout, even in her mid 80s.
That age, I mean, 85, 87, that's old, man.
Yeah.
And to be doing that job every day, I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
So that's a big loss to that. I mean, not only just like the women community and her fighting for equality and stuff, but just in general. I mean, that's a big blow. I don't know the process for.
Well, her death is a huge political impact.
Oh yeah,
because before it was, you had the 5-4. It was pretty close on the Supreme Court in terms of the split. But if a conservative were to take her place, you've got a 6-3 advantage where you pretty much are getting conservative rulings going forward.
Yeah, that's a dangerous thing.
And that's a lifetime position. So
Yeah. And right now there's a big struggle going on in terms of when do they cast that replacement.
Right.
You
well,
know,
I guess her last dying wish was that she wanted the decision for replacement to not be by Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. But.
So one of the issues was technically Trump has the right to nominate somebody and get it through. They're going to try and push it through as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
The thing is a lot of Republicans in 2016, when the last opening happened, they were saying, there was about 9 months before the election, and they were saying, you need to wait until the president is chosen before we do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're trying to throw those words back in their face, like, you guys are being hypocritical, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, like, they don't give a shit, If I'll be a hypocrite if I get to pass through the things that I believe in.
Hypocrisy has never been something that they've had problems swallowing.
Right. So this is like a huge, I guess, scare for things like women's rights in terms of like abortion, immigration, pretty much everything that's been going on, gun rights, even like, stricter gun laws. That's probably not going to be something that happens.
Do the justices on the Supreme Court play a role in those laws being passed and stuff, or they just play a role in governing them when it is brought into court?
Well, so it's a little bit of both. If something were to be a big, huge case that made it to the Supreme Court, they're the final say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, for instance, like Trump puts through those executive orders, the Supreme Court is the one that's going to be like, no way, that's unconstitutional, and slaps that down. Okay. So, but you've got those things where you don't have a clear cut line. You can have that argument with abortion. When does a life take place and stuff like I don't think abortion's going to be ever gone, but you could certainly make it that it's got to be very early to the point where it's almost like basically gone. And, I don't know. He's going to try and get that through as quickly as possible though. And
it's not saying much, but I was impressed by the way that he responded. Because he was doing a conference or something, and someone brought it up in question.
Yeah,
and he hadn't heard yet, and he just wasn't an idiot. Which is sad that we have to be impressed that he wasn't an idiot.
But I didn't even see that.
But I was impressed on the way that he responded to. He just was sentimental about it. He was nice, and that their relationship wasn't great,
right?
And he had every opportunity to be Trump,
right?
In the way he responds to things, and he wasn't. He was very respectful. He said really nice things about her. I was actually impressed.
Good for him.
I know. I mean, it's not saying much. I'm like,
right.
But I was impressed because he knows how to put his foot in his mouth, and he did a nice job in just being respectful for a change.
Yeah.
If he did more of that, he wouldn't be such an asshole.
Her legacy definitely deserves it for sure.
Absolutely.
I
mean, he said that.
If there's one person that you're like, you know what, just bite your lip and say something nice for once, it's her.
Yeah. Yeah. I was. Sadly, I was not sadly, but I was impressed that he didn't act like a buffoon.
Yeah, my initial reaction to it was panic. Honestly, I mean,
I think that's what a lot of people were,
and I think that it's because I'm pretty conservative. It's just I think the Trump aspect of it is what worries me. If he were to lose, I wouldn't be as worried. I guess. I mean, I don't believe in everything conservatives do, but it just wouldn't be as extreme. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's definitely wild. Like my first thought was like, God, like 2 more months, like 2 months.
I know you're banking on that, but I think you're going to be sorely saddened.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting when that happens. Because, I mean, you think about it, we'll have an episode the night before Election Day. So, like, I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts.
Are we going to?
When that happens. Well, yeah, because, I mean, Election Day is a Tuesday.
Oh,
so
geez.
Here was his response, just for those that haven't heard it.
He just died? Wow. I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time. She led an amazing life. What else can you say? She was an amazing woman. Whether you agreed or not, she was an amazing woman who led an amazing life. I'm actually sad to hear that. I am sad to hear that.
Which isn't saying a lot, but it was
that's good for him.
Better than a lot of things that man has said in untimely times.
I almost sent you guys a screen cap of somebody who, and you know who I'm referring to, who said something after that death, and I was just like,
yeah, I don't even want to.
Yeah,
but fucking idiot. So,
It's going to be a political
very
battle,
sad,
though,
though.
going forward for that spot, and definitely some big implications that we'll be talking about as soon as they happen.
I feel like that's an area of that could use some reform, just like Senate and Congress and stuff. A life seat.
I don't think there should be a life seat in anything.
Crazy to me. That's what I'm saying. That seems that is dangerous. You get someone in there with a set of views, and you're saying that they can sit there forever.
Yep.
I mean, that's just, especially in how they're voted in or how they're picked and everything.
Especially how times change. I mean,
dude,
she's a perfect example. You know, she luckily she was on the right side of things.
Say, we were fortunate with her, though.
But look at the amount of time. So we said, 30 years she's been on this thing.
Yep.
How much technology in the world has changed in 30 years from the time I was born, where we're going on, 8-bit video games and, no solar, whatever, greenhouse, like whatever, no terrorism, like all of these things have come through in 30 years.
Yep.
And if she was terrible, it would have been, one vote.
Yeah.
It's just,
always.
It's scary to think of. I mean, it's like your point. If you get a big case, like I'm talking like a life or death situation, and it gets to the Supreme Court, and you're banking on your justice system to back you, and you're out, as far as the balance there.
Yep.
That's scary. I mean, that's it. That's your final straw. That's your reliance on.
And they are
your
the
life.
ones who determine what is constitutional.
Yeah, man.
They interpret the Constitution and then make that what it is. So there's nobody to say, if they came out and said tomorrow, hey, we're not doing guns anymore.
Yeah.
There's nobody to say,
that's it.
Check. No.
They're the last ones.
You're it. You're the ones that are finalizing those things. So
I don't even know like morally how you pick those seats and because again, it's just one person's view over another in deciding who sits there. So if you're on the left, obviously you're not going to agree with whoever they're trying to vote in that's on the right. And if you're on the,
you have to hope that they uphold their duty outside of their personal views to uphold what is constitutional. And people are human.
I was going to say, you got to know how hard that is. If it's something that you don't agree with, like, deep down inside you don't agree with, but constitutionally it's okay.
Right.
Are you really going to truly support it?
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if like abortion's a perfect example.
Yep.
If you are diehard anti-abortion, you think it's murder and, you're super religious and that's the devil's work, whatever.
Right.
And it's passed by your peers that it's okay.
If you're the deciding vote on that.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're like, to Jesse's point, we're human. Like, I mean, no one's perfect. We all have our own moral beliefs. When it comes down to it.
Well, once you get that 6-3 split, now you've got to hope that two people are going to turn. If you find something to be like, if a liberal law comes up that you believe in, you think is constitutional, you've got to hope that two people on the opposite end are going to split and hold that value with you.
A lot harder than one.
A lot harder than one. Because we've had a couple of conservative swings on these this year alone, but like you ain't getting two.
Two's tough. Two's asking a lot. Fuck, man. Yeah, that's a big ordeal, and I don't think people realize because people don't pay attention. About people that didn't even know who she was. I'm like, you're just an asshole. Someone just being an asshole probably at that point.
Right.
But I'm like,
she's probably the only Supreme Court person I could name, to be honest.
She's made a name for herself, though.
Right.
That's why it's in her legacy and the things that she's done that we know of her. Because I can't name any other ones.
Yeah.
But who on the justices has made an impact like she has?
I remember in her documentary, there's one of them that she does not get along with very well at all. I just can't remember what his name is.
Yeah. Trump. But yeah, it's very sad. A lot of loss this year, man. Yeah, just all across the board, from sports and movies to politics. It's been a fucking doozy.
Worst year ever.
It is the worst year ever. All right. Well, you guys want to finish it up with locker room talk?
Yep, let's do it.
Save the worst for last.
Jeez. Line to deep left field. It is gone. 45-40. Run, William, run. 20. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the.
This is locker room talk.
I love Browns time.
Who do you guys play next week?
We're gonna be 3-0.
Oh yeah, you don't even know. Fuck you.
3-0, baby. We
I
play Seattle, don't we?
Nope. I know who they play.
don't know who they play.
I do.
Who do they play?
Because Houston has the toughest first 3-game schedule that I've ever seen.
You might be Houston.
A murderer's
Houston looks
row.
bad. Houston looks bad.
3-0, baby.
We'll be 2-1.
Yeah, 2 losses, 1 win.
No, that's not what 2-1 is.
You
dumbass.
said yeah.
We got
You're the one
Seattle.
that said yeah, dumbass.
We got Seattle. We're gonna get swamped, man.
Yeah. Steelers are 2-0.
Yeah. So basketball is what I wanted to start with, anyways.
B-ball. Crybaby Braun.
Braun does not get MVP, and
threw a tantrum.
Cried about it. Giannis got it back to back and Defensive Player of the Year back to back. He's got to be the only person to ever do that, right? Or did Hakeem do that?
Not back-to-back MVPs.
I didn't think so.
No, he only got it 1 year.
So yeah, I think that's the first time that that's happened.
Has
And
Braun created a ripple for himself? Like, is he creating a ripple in the water that people aren't voting for him?
Well, so did you guys see the thing about I think it was 2013 whenever he got his MVP and he finished second in voting for Defensive Player of the Year. Marc Gasol won it that year, but he was the second all defense team. And he won Defensive Player of the Year that year. And LeBron was like, yeah, like I should have been the Defensive Player of the Year and MVP that year.
Oh, shit.
And had that title, because everybody always says, well, Jordan did that. He never did that, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I should have done that. I had better stats all around, and they didn't give it to him. Yeah. And then you fast forward to this year, and Giannis was fantastic.
Yeah.
Best record in the league. He was incredible.
Yeah.
But LeBron is 35 years old now.
Yeah, bro.
35 years old.
And playing like he's 23.
Leading the league in assists for the first time in his career. Over 10 assists a game. And averaging like 24 points a game or something like that, along with like 8 rebounds. Like the dude is just a freak.
Yep.
Playing at 35. This is a young man's game, and he is dominating them. Yep. He's about to get his 4th ring.
Dude,
the playoffs have been terrible. They're not going to lose to the Heat. They're not going to lose to the Nuggets. So,
he's 15 year in, but the dude is a machine, man.
He should have gotten MVP this year.
So,
he's never injured.
Because he takes such
last
good
year
care
was the
of
only
himself.
time he got injured during his career.
Yeah. Yep. I think the one argument that the media has when they vote on things like that is that, so you look at a team like the Lakers compared to a team like the Bucks, who Giannis plays for. So who would you say is the second best player on the Bucks?
Probably Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton. Okay.
I would think.
Anthony Davis is leaps and bounds
Absolutely
better than Chris and better than anybody else on the Lakers.
Absolutely.
I think they look at something like that and they go like,
supporting.
So
cast.
take Giannis out, and we've seen this year. He's been injured a couple times this year. Take Giannis out. Let's see how good the Bucks do. Take LeBron out. Let's see how good the Lakers do.
Right.
I think the Lakers would do a lot better because I think Anthony Davis would still maintain that era of control. They wouldn't be as good,
true.
but they would still be good. I think that's what a lot of media looks at when they vote.
Yeah.
It sucks because, well, I mean, like you look when LeBron was at Miami, that's the same thing. He had trouble earning votes because, well, you got Bosh and you got Wade. You got 2 of the best right then.
15 out of 100, though.
Yeah.
16. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that just fuels his fire. He'll take the ring over the MVP.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And you should.
But, I mean, the way that they ran through the West this year,
Yeah,
they could repeat next year.
Only 2
if
losses.
If they can keep
They're
the
playing well.
main key parts of that team and add a little bit of talent.
What about him playing? What about the Nuggets game last night, though?
What about it?
He kind of was doing that postseason Braun where he quits.
He disappeared late in the game, but that's what you have AD for, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he scored 20 points in the first half.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was throwing tantrum because of the MVP thing, like it's like fuck this kind of thing. 'Cause he's done that before. I love LeBron, but
the Boston series, shit.
He's done that before, where he has these like tantrums.
Yeah.
He's like fuck this, and then he just quits.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I don't think that he's quit since his Miami days.
Yeah, I don't think he's quit in Miami. They're going all the way this year.
Right.
But
I think
definitely
it's more of a
it was
coasting thing at this point.
Just wait, get to the finals.
I think that he doesn't respect the Nuggets.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't
They're
respect the
playing
Heat.
pretty good, man.
Well, they stole that one last night.
Yeah,
they
that,
did.
That was the Nuggets game.
They barely.
But
stole
that's
that.
demoralizing. They're not coming
sure.
back from that.
Yeah.
The thing is like I think the reason why LeBron's kind of taken a back seat in this series is because the biggest exploiting gap in these two teams is Anthony Davis versus, I guess you could say Jokic is the guy guarding him, but that's a huge gap, man. There is nobody on Denver who can size up to Anthony Davis.
Hell no.
And they're going to exploit that, and they already have. He sunk the game winner last night.
Yep.
They're going to exploit that all the way until that final game that they've won.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, even outside of Anthony Davis, when he's not on Davis, he's got to deal with Dwight Howard, who's revitalized.
Yep.
And even JaVale McGee is not a scrub.
JaVale McGee!
You've got huge size on the Lakers this year, which is not something, I mean, we've been traveling back to a small ball lineup in the NBA overall. When you get in the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala lineup that terrorized the NBA for years.
Right.
And now you've got, Westbrook and Harden that's, great all the way until it matters. But the Lakers didn't do that. The Lakers said, you know what, we're gonna get big. We're gonna get some really great centers that are going to be able to rotate in at any given time. We're going to rebound better than anybody in the entire league, and we're going to play defense.
Yeah.
And they're the best defense in the league. They're the best rebounding team in the league, or close to it. And you got a guy like LeBron running and leading the fucking league in assists with a guy like Rondo behind him.
Yeah.
That's just dominant basketball.
Because the big man era is dead in basketball. It's not like it was in the 90s where every team has a great big man. Now, if you have a good big man like Anthony Davis, you can terrorize the NBA.
Right.
And I think, like you've said, to your credit, like they've found that and they've exploited it in trips. They said, we're not just going to double down on this. We're going to triple down on this.
Right.
And we're going to make people beat us in size. And there's none of those three teams that are left stack up well against Anthony Davis.
Nope.
It's crazy over the last couple of years how much the teams have changed. Like it was Golden State. That's all you'd hear about. That was it. It's Golden State. They're going to win again this year. There's no point in talking about anything else.
Right.
Now it's like there ain't even conversation.
Well, injury screwed them this year.
It did,
we'll see what happens next year.
I still don't think that they're gonna.
It's gonna be tough to match up against that team, against the Lakers.
They're gonna get a top tier rookie too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they get the, I think, 3rd or 4th pick, something like that. Yeah. So I'm sure they'll go after a big man.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's crazy how much it evolved over the last, since 16 when we won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, going into football though, my Brownies played on Thursday. Looked like a completely different team.
Baker and Odell made some love.
Baker looked great.
He played pretty good.
I mean, their defense isn't anything, and that's what I said, after our first loss was I figured we would win this game. I figure we're going to beat Washington. The way Dallas has been playing, I figure we have a really good chance of at least competing in that game.
Mm.
But I'm not going to feel comfortable until we play well against Dallas.
Yeah.
Because Dallas, at least, you guys are doing some dumb stuff, but you're still a formidable opponent and possibly a playoff team. So I don't know. Washington's not shit.
Yeah. We have to outscore you. Our defense is no better than yours.
Yeah.
Like we literally, if the Browns are going to beat us, we're going to have to make them hang up 40 to beat us.
They scored some points, man. I was surprised.
The thing that I really liked was, our defense let up 30 points.
Yeah.
And that is not great.
Mm-hmm.
But they never once got burnt on a huge play. If we got up on a score, they were going to have to go 6-7 minutes on a full long drive.
Right.
And we had a lot of bend but don't break. They drive 80 yards, get a field goal. They drive 80 yards, get a field goal. Or took them 8 minutes when they needed to score quickly to get a touchdown. And if our front four is elite.
Right.
Sheldon Richardson is playing amazing. Myles Garrett's playing amazing. He doesn't have the sacks, and everybody's all pissed about it. But that dude is in on every single play.
Yeah.
And he shows up when it mattered. Like whenever they went for it on that 4th down, and on the very next play, they get the offsides, gives them the breathing room, and I'm like, typical Browns doing stupid shit. And what does Myles do?
Yeah.
Gets in there, forces the fumble, and we're right back in it to get a touchdown on the next play.
And he had Joe in pressure pretty much all day is what it seemed like. He was really, if he didn't get to him, he was at least making him sweat a little bit, to interrupt his flow throwing the ball.
Yeah. 217 yards on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both are amazing.
The best 1-2 running combo in the game.
The way they're doing it is just like pound Chubb, pound Chubb, pound Chubb, pound Chubb, boom, 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 boom. And then you get to that 3rd quarter and bring in Hunt, and he's going to get 100 yards in a quarter and a half because everybody's gassed, and he's even quicker and more elusive, and he can catch the ball.
Right. And it's going to be interesting down the stretch too. I'm talking like a year or two from now. Like So what do they get for Hunt if he keeps playing the way that he's playing? You know?
Yeah.
Like it's interesting. They've put themselves in quite an interesting position, to run the table on these riches that they're going to receive.
Yep. Yeah. I think that our offense with another week against Washington will be able to maybe gel a little bit more going into Dallas. But once we get past Dallas, like there's really not a great team. Like the NFC East is probably the worst division in football this year.
By far.
And that's who we're facing. Eagles are terrible. We're going to beat Washington. We've got a chance against Dallas. I do think you guys are the best in your division.
The media's turned against Carson Wentz finally. Thanks. Come on over to the other side, guys. Come on over.
I've never been a Carson Wentz guy. I never believed in him.
Now he sucks all of a sudden.
But yeah, man, I think that it's looking up. We'll see what happens. I'm glad they played on Thursday because Sunday was cursed.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mother is injured.
Most injuries in NFL history, I think they said.
They will never cancel preseason games after the start.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to have to face going into Dallas, though, which is an interesting story this week. 20,000 of our finest fans.
Oh, wow.
How the fuck did Dallas get 20,000 people in their stadium?
So freaking big.
Seriously?
Right, yeah.
20,000?
20,000 went to the Sunday game.
6,000 at the Browns?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it can fit like what, 35?
How many people can you fit? No, Brown Stadium, 64.
Dallas is 120.
Yeah. So they're twice as big.
Still way more people.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. And like you could see them on the camera, like they were spread out decently enough, but that goal behind the end zone, that's not 6 feet.
Browns were spread out and they still had a fight in the stands.
I had quite a few friends that went to Thursday's game.
Did they?
Yeah.
How was it?
It said it was a great time.
Did they?
Yeah.
See, because I've been in that stadium whenever we were like, because I don't ever leave a game early.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if we're getting our asses kicked. And I've been there for some ass whoopings.
Yeah.
I've been there when there were like 30,000 people in December, and it feels so dead.
They said it was a good time.
There's no way I was going to that game for 6,000.
I like the Brown Stadium. Like I've always had a pretty good time.
I would have went. If I had tickets, I probably would have went. I don't care if there's not that many people. It's all about the just experience of being there.
It is, but I don't know. I go pretty regularly. I don't want to go unless the crowd is like. Yeah. When you go and you get a win,
though. I go to one
that
game
place
a year.
is thumping.
So
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, like I go to one game a year, so I'm not like spoiled. I'm not going to 6-7 games a year.
I don't
like
go
you
that
probably.
many.
Well,
we have our season tickets, but we usually sell a lot of them. We do it more for the playoff tickets because you get first dibs if they ever go.
Yeah.
But I go to like 2 or 3 every year. Typically, I go to the Steelers no matter what every year, and then I try to go and see like really big stuff. So like I saw Tom Brady play one time. I went for that. I've seen everybody except for Breeze. So I saw Peyton. I saw Rodgers. I've seen Brady. Rodgers was in preseason.
It was like the Bugs Bunny when he's like this with the hard eyes. It was Jesse just like.
It was incredible. He threw for like 4 touchdowns that game.
Now he hates
all of them were to
life.
tight ends.
I'll massage your ass, Mr.
He made
Brady.
such big mistake.
But yeah, man, no, these freaking injuries though. Saquon Barkley done for the season.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey done for 4 to 6 weeks. Chris Godwin had a concussion. He's just now coming back.
That's why he had 0. Okay.
Drew Lock had a chest injury.
Dude. It's a mess.
Cortland Sutton is done for the season. He tore his MCL.
2 games into the year.
Who else went
Conditioning,
down?
dude. Without that preseason, taking that completely out,
it's awful.
Your body can't toughen up.
Philip Lindsay's done for a while. Somebody got a high ankle sprain. Michael Thomas has a high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
He's out for a couple of weeks. Like these are all elite players. And thank God none of them were on my fantasy team. But like the one dude in my the one dude on my dynasty league, he traded everything that he could and got Saquon and Christian McCaffrey in a PPR league with 12 men. Imagine that lineup, and they both go down. He was just like, man, fuck my life. He's like, I'm just going to sell the team.
By the way, the Saints are losing 24-17 with 14 minutes left.
Yeah,
to the Raiders.
I won my fantasy league so far.
I'm on my way to winning.
I thought the
mine,
Raiders
too.
were going to win. You guys were all Saints.
I don't think that the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders will win.
It's not over yet.
I know. I don't know. I'm a Raiders fan, so
I think the Raiders have some promise, but I just don't think they're there yet. I think they need one more year to gel. I really like Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
I think they need a different quarterback. I don't think Derek Carr can do it.
Yeah, that's true.
What else we got?
That was it.
Oh.
Yeah,
there
sports
wasn't
is just
too much in
football,
sports this
basketball.
week.
There's not much. Yeah, I mean, there's not much going on in sports. The bubble's got a lot of issues apparently going on, but outside of that,
Upcoming week,
recently they've had issues with people want him to leave and sneaking out,
Oh.
and trying to get family.
But
in.
no,
They're
it's
supposed to
almost
be-
over.
No
guys.
positive tests
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
matchup this week.
Safety wise, it's good. Just people. I think people are just at the point now where they're like
Ready.
cabin fever, like
Yeah.
need to get the fuck out of here, kind of thing.
Matchup to watch for the upcoming game: Browns versus Washington football team. Myles Garrett, Chase Young. That kid is incredible. He is like literally playing so well right now that he could be defensive rookie of the year and defensive player of the year. This kid is a freak.
Yeah.
And I love it. So I'm excited to see how they do because our offensive line has been playing really, really well.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about him because I don't want to see Baker getting cracked. But I also do kind of want to see some pressure on him to see him, how legit our
How
offense
handle
is
under
and
the
stuff
pressure.
is. So
It's got to get comfortable. Yeah.
yeah, but we'll see how it goes.
Anything new from you with articles? Are you writing?
I am very slowly working on an article just
Okay.
because of school and stuff. I
Yeah.
even actually reached out to them and was like, hey, I've
Back
got
to
some
working.
stuff that I'm working on, but I'm not going to get it to you anytime soon.
Yeah.
They're editing some of my stuff that's still on backlog because I have about 4 left that still need to go up. So the
Okay.
next one that goes up is a article about Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers.
Okay.
So, Deshaun Jackson, Terrell Owens, I think Nelson Aguilar's in my honorable mentions.
Gotcha.
But they've got some classic guys there.
Cool.
But yeah, so right now I'm working on some stuff for the Bears, a little history lesson. It's very in depth because their rivalry. It's about their rivalries, and their rivalries are the oldest in the NFL. So
one of the oldest teams.
Cool.
Packers is the oldest ever. Lions is the oldest consecutive yearly because of strikes and stuff ruined the Packers streak.
Yeah.
But they go all the way back to the 30s. So I went
Nice.
decade by decade and broke down, their decade record, who they faced, what was going on at the time, blah, 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 blah. So it'll be a good read when it's finally done.
Very good.
Good stuff.
Can't wait.
I'll check that out. You got one more review you need this year to make it a successful
One more
year?
successful, yeah, but I have 15 reviews left.
That's pretty good considering
Yeah.
like
with the year,
how
with
shitty
everything that
the
went
year
on
has
this year.
been.
Well, yeah, I mean, we right now, if we got it, say we got it tomorrow, it would be our second quickest that we've ever
That's what I was
got
going to
it.
ask you. How quickly do you normally
Uh,
meet that goal?
well, the numbers have always been less in years. It improves with more
Yeah.
years, but yeah, the earliest we ever got it was August 26th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. One more successful review for Christopher. You need to get on
So
filmfreak.com.
close. There's so many with 9 right now.
Check some reviews. Put some comments in if you like the review. Share them. Jesse's reviews, Sports Illustrated. Jesse Young at SI something. Jesse Young SI on the old Twitter.
SI.com/authors/Jesse Young.
There you go. Check them out. Venmo challenge is still going on. It kind of dwindled a little bit. I meant to talk about it in the very beginning. I forgot, but we're at $54. I really want our goal to be 100 per donation minimum. So money is still there. Full disclosure. I think what I might do is just wait to, rather than like every week, just every time we get at least $100, then we'll do it. It might not be a season long. I mean, that first week was so good. I was like gung ho, but I know it's asking a lot. There's a lot going on with other stuff, and there's other things I want to make sure we can support too. So I don't want to necessarily steal all the thunder,
Right.
like Jesse's thing that's going on. And if there's other things we want to try and donate to, but for those that you have followed it or that have participated, and I didn't post a video, just in full disclosure, that's why $54 is what we raised so far. Not that that's not a lot of money, but I'd like to try and do $100 minimum per time. So we're going to keep it going through this week. And if we get to 100 by this coming weekend, then we'll donate it then. The Venmo is MTM Podcast. If you'd like to contribute, you can check the YouTube to find out what it is, or listen to season 3, episode 1 for more info. With that being said, thanks for listening. Please share, like, subscribe, hit the bell, do your thing on social media. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will catch you next week.
Podcast.
Last month I had